Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto married Temari after the training trip. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by KingBeasta and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Naruto Uzumaki Genin of Konoha and now student of Jiraiya has just left the village for his 3-year training trip with his brand new sensei Jiraiya the Toad Sage. While in most cases he would screaming about getting Sasuke back from Orochimaru or talking about his crush Sakura, but Naruto finds himself thinking about what Jiraiya had told him when he was in the hospital. Flashback. Naruto has finally been left alone after Tsunade, and Shizen had finished healing his injuries and has finished talking to Sakura. "You're an idiot, Naruto," said Kyuubi in a deadpan tone. Naruto then lets out a sigh of annoyance. Kyuubi then growls at Naruto from his mindscape. "Don't you fucking sigh at me, you pathetic brat," roared Kyuubi in his usual angry tone. Naruto rolls his eyes at the bijou. "What do you want, fox?" "I'm tired," sneered Naruto in exhaustion. Usually in a few hours I'd say he would be ready to go, but after the long fights with Kimamoto, Taiya, and Sasuke, Naruto finds himself tired. Kyuubi growls at his jailer in annoyance. The large bijou sometimes wondered what he'd do to be cursed with an idiotic shinobi like Naruto. "I don't care if you are near death, brat. You will fucking listen to me, you ungrateful sack of meat," roared Kyuubi. Naruto rolled his eyes at the loud voice. "Being the Kyuubi no Christian, fine, what do you want?" asked Naruto. "You're an idiot," said Kyuubi, causing Naruto to gain a sweat drop on the side of his head. "You purposely allowed yourself in a situation where you almost die, and for what for? Some arrogant brat, and that annoying teammate, of course," yelled Kyuubi. The fox then cuts off the link. The fox sits in his cage growling in annoyance. Jiraiya then walks in the room with a serious face which had shocked Naruto, since the only time he's ever seen Jiraiya serious is when he saw Itachi and Kisame, and when he encountered Orochimaru for the second time. "Hey Naruto, how you feeling?" asked Jiraiya in a solemn expression. Naruto gives Jiraiya a wide smirk. "I'm feeling good, Dadabayo," yelled Naruto. Jiraiya nods his head. He then stands up and walks over to Naruto and taps Naruto's arm. He then releases a scream of pain. He then releases a sigh. "Naruto, you overused your chakra," said Jiraiya looking at the blonde Uzumaki. Naruto then gains a confused expression. "Huh? What are you talking about, Ero-sanin?" asked Naruto, who has a deadpan expression and has an expression of lost. Jiraiya then runs his hands through his long white hair. "What I mean is that you pushed your body to its absolute limits. While training this might be good, but in the heat of the enemy it can become fatal. Naruto, you're even lucky to be alive," said Jiraiya as he sits across from the genin. "Huh, why wouldn't I be alive? I never give up, Dadabayo," declared Naruto. "You're lucky to be alive because that last jutsu, and using Kyuubi chakra when you barely had any chakra left, could have ended your ninja Gaara permanently," said Jiraiya, which had shocked Naruto beyond belief. The knucklehead shinobi couldn't believe it. He could have died, but the hard-headed part of him was telling he'll never give up until he brings Sasuke back and becomes the Hokage. "While I came here to tell you the dangers of overusing your chakra, I wanted to talk to you, Naruto," said Jiraiya in a tone that held no joking. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Jiraiya. "What do you want to talk about, Ero-sanin?" asked Naruto in curiosity. While he had his face wrapped in bandages, Jiraiya still knew the bandaged genin had raised his eyebrow at him. "I want to talk about giving up that foolish promise." "Now, before you start yelling, hear me out," asked Jiraiya. He watches as Naruto is about to say something but then closes his mouth. "I know of your nindo way to never break a promise, but you are making same mistakes Sabutobi-sensei and myself made while concerning Orochimaru. But Naruto, you should know, Orochimaru wasn't the cruel, cold, and evil shinobi. He was once like me and you. He grew up with no family, and back then I could actually call him my best friend, but even he started experimenting on people. I wanted to believe the person I once saw still my friend, but over the years I knew the person I was no longer there. And because of my most regrets due my feelings, thousands of innocent have died. I just don't want you to make the same mistake as me. And Naruto, we leave in 7 days, so do what you need to do," said Jiraiya. He then walks to the window and exits out the window, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. Naruto just sat in silence, but after 2 minutes he gains an expression that's a cross between conviction and confidence. "I don't care what that old pervert says. I'll bring Sasuke team back and show him, or my name isn't Naruto Uzumaki Dadabayo," yelled Naruto with his trademark idiotic grin. Flashback over. Naruto glances at his sensei, then glances back. "Ast the road. I don't care what, Ero-sanin. I will bring Sasuke team back. I always keep my promises," thought Naruto. He then glances back at Jiraiya and squints his eyes at the white-haired sage. "Ero-sanin, where are we going? Can you teach me a new jutsu? I want to spit acid out of my mouth." "No, wait, I want shot lava out of my eyes," yelled Naruto. Jiraiya grins at Naruto excitement. "How about no and no? Besides, I'm not teaching you anything until you master the Rasengan," said Jiraiya in a tone that gave no room for an argument. Naruto then lets out a loud whine. "But I have learned the jutsu, and where are we going?" asked Naruto with a pout. Jiraiya scoffed at Naruto, not in an arrogant manner but in a joking manner. "Naruto, you still have to use a clone to create the Rasengan. Until you can truly create the Rasengan with one hand, then we can start talking about what's next to teach you Gaki," said Jiraiya. Naruto glares at Jiraiya with a pout. "No fair." "Hey, wait a minute. You never said where we are going, Ero-sanin," exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya just rolled his eyes at Naruto's impatientness. I heard you the first time, Naruto. I just choose not to listen to you, and will stop calling me Ero-san. It's embarrassing. Whined Jiraiya. Naruto crosses his arms. Never. Unless you stop writing those perverted books, said Naruto in a defiance tone. Jiraiya glares down at Jiraiya with a smirk. Never. Your tiny brain can't concept the wonders of each of my masterpieces, yelled Jiraiya with a full-blown grin. He then loses the grin and gains a serious expression. And we are going to Sunagakure. That is the first stop we need to take. I guess you can say it's like a side mission ordered by Tsunade, said Jiraiya. He turns to Naruto, who has a million-watt smile. Naruto then begins to bounce up and down like a child on a sugar rush. We're going to Suna. That's awesome. I can see Gaara. Come on, Ero-san, and we're wasting daylight, yelled Naruto as he begins to start running. Then turns to Jiraiya with a nervous expression. Where's Suna again? Asked Naruto, who has a large sweat drop on the side of his head. Jiraiya face palms at Naruto's rash excitement. Okay, note to self, get the rashness, and his running into battle without thinking out of his head. The brat will last longer in the world, thought Jiraiya. Naruto, let me lead the way, said Jiraiya as he walks past Naruto, who quickly follows right behind him. So, why are we going there? Asked Naruto in a curious tone. While he was happy he gets to see his fellow Jinchuriki, he was also curious. Why are they going there? I guess you can say we are going there for a political mission, but also this contains about your future training you will have, said Jiraiya in a serious tone. Naruto gazes at Jiraiya's expression, wondering what the perverted sage is thinking about, but he then shrugs his shoulders. Probably something perverted, no doubt, thought Naruto as he places his hands behind his head. But Naruto couldn't be any more tongue. He was. Flashback. Inside the Hokage office you would usually see Tsunade going through mountains of papers, drinking various of bottles of sake, or taking naps, but not today. Tsunade can be seen staring at Jiraiya with a serious expression, who's sitting across from her. Jiraiya, I must know what you will be doing on this training trip? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya lets out a sigh. Originally I was planning on having Naruto complete the Rasengan and the Shadow Clone technique, Kage no Bunshin, working on his taijutsu, and focusing on him controlling Kyuubi's chakra, but that isn't going to work. So I'll have to take another approach, said Jiraiya as he grabs a notebook and start writing in it. But it isn't the notebook she's familiar with. Tsunade raised her eyebrow. What do you mean a different approach? Asked Tsunade, narrowing her hazel eyes at Jiraiya. Jiraiya then gives her an all-knowing look. Tsunade, are you really asking me this question? You've seen how he fights. His taijutsu is piss poor. The only ninjutsu he knows is Kage no Jutsu, sexy clone technique, Oiroku no Jutsu, summoning technique, Kuchio's summoning, and Rasengan. Naruto hasn't even learned all the chakra exercises, and the boy probably doesn't even know he has a secret talent for Fuinjutsu or what chakra papers are. Tsunade, you can't deny that he has been trained poorly, said Jiraiya. Tsunade lets out a tiresome sigh. Even though Naruto isn't there physically, it seems like just talking about the knucklehead shinobi is giving the Senju Kage a headache. Agreed, these holes in Naruto should have been corrected months ago. I will personally look into it. I can't have someone like Naruto being killed on the next high-class mission, while his team was able to complete the wave, his fight against Gaara, and his mission with the protection of Princess Yuki Fujikaze. The next time he won't be lucky, said Tsunade as she massages the temple of her forehead. You know this is all Kakashi's fault, right? Stated Jiraiya. Tsunade then glares at Jiraiya. Jiraiya, what are you talking about? How is this Kakashi's fault? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya then begins to tap the giant scroll that's placed next to him. Come on, Tsunade, it shouldn't be hard to figure out. Kakashi openly favored Sasuke over Naruto and the pink-haired girl. You and me know how much Kakashi would try to repay Obito even if he had to ignore JIS Sensei's son, and we both know that Minato never favored Obito, Rin, or Kakashi, said Jiraiya. Tsunade leans back in the chair, letting out a sigh. Alright Jiraiya, you're right about Kakashi. It's pretty obvious that he shouldn't favor one student over another. It could cause problems, but it's already too late for that, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nods his head in agreement. If only Minato or his teammates could see him now, thought Jiraiya. He then turns to Tsunade and glances down at her breast. Tsunade, what are you going to do about the pink-haired one? She's obviously incredibly weak even for Genin standards. Not to forget she's hopelessly obsessed with Sasuke and has her own fangirl delusion making her believe she's in love with him and having this false image of Sasuke, stated Jiraiya. Tsunade then grabs a bottle of sake and starts drinking from the bottle. Honestly, I'm not sure I was originally thinking about, but I don't know. I mean, yes, she has good chakra control, but her obsession with Sasuke Uchiha would present some troubles, said Tsunade. Jiraiya then grins at Tsunade. What the hell are you grinning for, you old pervert? Growled Tsunade. Jiraiya just shrugged his shoulders. Oh, nothing. Just thought you could hear a suggestion I have in mind, said Jiraiya. Tsunade glares at Jiraiya. What kind of suggestion? Asked Tsunade. Naruto just waved her off nonchalantly. Oh, nothing. Just wondering, instead of teaching that Sakura girl you train Ino Yamanaka? Asked Jiraiya. Tsunade eyes open with a glare. Would that be smart move? I mean, they are friends, said Tsunade. Jiraiya just waved her off. Tsunade, you and me no friend has nothing to do with it. After, if that was the case, Orochimaru would have been the Yondaime Hokage and not my former student Minato. While her taijutsu is poor, but that's not really surprising since her clan focus on their mind jutsus, but other than that she's quite intelligent, more level-headed, and is better with coming up with plans on the fly. Also, her chakra control is better, good, probably thanks to her dad and Asuma. Besides, I'm right. Grinned Jiraiya. Tsunade lets out a groan at the fact that Ino would be a better candidate than Sakura. Alright, you win, you damn pervert. That Ino girl would make a better student. Also, with her clan jutsu she'll be able to do some true grand breaking techniques. But back to Naruto, what will you be doing? I care about his family, but also as an asset, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nods his head. True, but also he probably is the last remaining family you got. After all, both the Uzumaki and Senju are cousins, so in a way you are the only family he probably has. But we are getting off track. As I was saying, I want to find out what his nature chakra first, then I'll start teaching him the true power of the Kage no Bunshin. I believe with the full mastery of the clones he calls not only successfully learn the Rasengan, but also go into the next type of Minato's jutsu. And I want to teach him the Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu. I also want him to learn this, said Jiraiya, pulling out a medium-sized red scroll that has the word toxic in kanji. Tsunade narrows her eyes at Jiraiya. I have some questions that needs to be answered, said Tsunade. Jiraiya nods his head. That's fair, said Jiraiya. Tsunade nods her head at her fellow sage. Alright, my first question is, what is the next step in the Rasengan? Miv's second question is, are you sure that's a smart thing of having Naruto learn the Hiraishin? And my third question is, what's in that scroll? Asked Tsunade in suspicion as she glares at Jiraiya. Jiraiya continues to grin at Tsunade. Well, Tsunadeheim, the next step in the Rasengan is to add your own element into the jutsu, but as you know, Minato died before he can complete the Rasengan, and as for me, I haven't been able to complete the jutsu. While there was that one, I used the Rasengan, then fired a fire release jutsu, and created fire release Great Flame Spiraling Sphere, Katon, Goen Rasengan, but the way I did was incomplete. But to your second question, yes, Naruto should learn the Hiraishin. After all, it's his birthright. If not me, then who? Kakashi. The man knew the Rasengan but didn't bother teaching it to him, or how to truly use the Kage no Bunshin. And for your last question, my spy acting got this. I don't know how, but he did, said Jiraiya as he rubs the back of his head. Tsunade then glares daggers at Jiraiya. What's in it? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya nonchalantly waves his hand at Tsunade. I think it's better if I show you, said Jiraiya. He unsealed the scroll. Another smaller scroll puffs in existence, and a Kusarigama. Tsunade widens her eyes in shock as she gazes on the Kusarigama. Is that? Asked Tsunade, pointing at the Kusarigama. Jiraiya, who now has a solemn expression, nods his head. Yep, the weapon of Hanzo. It still has his poison on it, right? Said Jiraiya. But how? Asked Tsunade, who's stunned. Jiraiya shrugged his shoulders. Like said earlier, I'm not sure how, said Jiraiya. Tsunade then glances at the scroll. And the scroll? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya lets out a chuckle. Believe it or not, inside this scroll is Hanzo's taijutsu, ninjutsu, kayakujutsu, gunpowder techniques, and Kusarigama jutsu, chain sickle technique. No doubt he probably accepted someone to end his life, and he took extra steps into maintaining that his teachings don't die out with him, said Jiraiya. Tsunade nods her head in agreement. Could you believe it that one day Hanzo will be helping Konoha? Asked Tsunade. Jiraiya grins back at Tsunade. Hello, no, but this will help advance in Naruto's training. But I'll have to excuse myself, I need to do some research, smirked Jiraiya in a perverted manner. Tsunade gains a tick mark on the side of her head before she can strangle or punch the Toad Sage. He quickly ships out of the room. Damn that fucking pervert. Flashback over. Both Naruto and Jiraiya finds themselves at the gates of Sunagakure, also known as the village hidden by sand. Jiraiya lets out a groaning sigh. There's no way I'll be able to do any research, groaned Jiraiya with his shoulders slumped. Naruto, who's sweating due to his heavy and baggy jumpsuit, glares at Jiraiya. Research? Who cares about that crap? I'm dying here, yelled Naruto. You fool. You simply don't understand, and I have my loyal fans care. And you're hot because of that god-awful jumpsuit, and Suna is a desert Yubaka, yelled Jiraiya, slapping Naruto on the back of his head. Naruto lets out a groan. But it's so hooked, whined Naruto. Jiraiya just waved Naruto off. You'll get used to it, said Jiraiya as the two shinobi continue to walk to the gate. They two Suna Jounin. One of the Jounin is dressed in a puppeteer clothing, while next to him is Baki, who is a very tall man. He has two distinctive, red markings on the right side of his face, the only visible part of his head, with the rest being covered by his turban-like headgear and by a sheet hanging from it on the left side of his face. He dons the standard attire of a Sunanin, complete with a forehead protector and flak jacket. The two Suna ninjas bow to Naruto and Jiraiya. Jiraiya-sama, we've been waiting for you, said the puppeteer. Baki nods his head. Shirbata Suto, Silver Dust, is right, the council awaits, said Baki. He then turns his gaze to Naruto. So he's the one that cured Gaara of his psychotic tendencies. He does look like an idiot, but if it wasn't for him, then Gaara wouldn't be a possible future choice for Kazekage, thought Baki. He then bows to Naruto. Shocking that someone is actually bowing to him. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. If it wasn't for you, Gaara would still be insane, said Baki. Naruto rubs the back of his head. It's no problem. Me and Gaara are alike, said Naruto with a wide grin, shocking the two Sunanin. That's right, Temari did say she felt the same kind of chakra from Naruto when the two were fighting, but Naruto's chakra was much larger than Gaara's, thought Baki. But where's Gaara? I've been dying to see him, said Naruto, who's literally bouncing off his feet. Baki and Shirobitasuto chuckle at Naruto's excitement. Gaara is actually home. Shirobitasuto will show you the way, said Baki, shocking the puppeteer. Jiraiya chuckles at the shocked face of the Tsunade. Have fun, said Jiraiya. Baki grabs onto the sage's shoulder and shunshin the sage to the council room. Naruto grins at Shirobitasuto. Come on, let's go already, yelled Naruto. Shirobitasuto gains a sweat drop. Damn my luck, groaned Shirobitasuto. With Jiraiya and Baki, as they enter the council room, each member on the council bows to Jiraiya. Well, if it isn't Jiraiya of the Sannin, said Chio. Jiraiya gains a sweat drop at Chio. Hello, Chio, nice to be here, said Jiraiya. The old sage still knew even though the years have passed. Chio still has a dislike for Konoha, but he could understand that since Konoha has a dislike for Kumo and IWA. Jiraiya then glances at Ebizo, who had cough in his hand. Now that you are here, we can get on with this meeting, said Ebizo as he stares at the Konoha ninja. Goza nods his head. But before we start this meeting, the council and Suna would like to apologize for our actions towards your village, Jiraiya-sama, said Goza. Jiraiya waves his hand in a non-cantilent manner. Don't worry about it, Goza. You were a victim of Orochimaru's schemes. We are slowly regaining our friendship thanks to my new student Naruto Uzumaki. Chio then gains a shocked expression at remembering that a genin had a hand in curing Gaara. If I may, could I ask you something? Asked Chio. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow at the elder woman. Sure, what is it? Asked Jiraiya, who's confused. Chio then narrows her eyes at Jiraiya. You say you want to strengthen the friendship of Konoha and Suna. If that's true, then could you fix the seal on Gaara? It would do both villages good if Gaara no longer had to worry about losing control, said Chio. After a minute, Jiraiya thinks it over. He then nods his head in agreement, causing Chio to smile since she's the one who sealed Shikaku into Gaara in the first place. Now it's time to start this meeting, said Yura. Seijo nods his head with his fellow councilman agreed. Now Jiraiya-sama, I believe you know why you are here? Asked Seijo. Jiraiya nods his head. Of course, this about strengthening our relationship. Tsunade had told me you would be having one of your ninjas to come with me on my 3-year mission, but she didn't really tell me who actually. But why are you doing this? Asked Jiraiya. We doing this so the bond between our villages could be stronger, said Chio in a personally tone. Yura nods his head agreeing with his elder. This is a repaying our debts to Konoha for not cancelling the treaty. And the person we've decided who should go with you is Temari of the Sand, daughter of the late Yondaime Kazekage Raza, said Jura in a serious tone. Baki nods his head in agreement. Temari, while young for her age, is quite talented in her own right, said Baki. Jiraiya nodded his head. Yeah, I remember watching her fight against Shikamaru. She almost had him, and her wind release is quite powerful, said Jiraiya. Thank you, Jiraiya. We make sure our shinobi are well trained and ready to go out on missions, but Tsunade had also say you have important information for us. Is that correct, Jiraiya-sama? Asked Ebizo. Jiraiya nods his head, gaining a serious expression. Have any of you heard of the Akatsuki? Asked Jiraiya. Each of the councilmen shook their head negatively. The Akatsuki is organization made out of S-class shinobi. There is to obtain all 9 bijou. Their intentions are unknown, but there are 2 members we know of, and that is Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hashigaki, said Jiraiya. Each of the councilmen narrows their eyes at hearing about the Akatsuki. Baki narrows his eyes in suspicion. What could the Akatsuki want with the bijou? Whatever their reason can't be any good, thought Baki. He then turns to Jiraiya. So, what should we do, Jiraiya-sama? Whatever plan this Akatsuki has won't be good, said Baki in a cold tone. Jiraiya nods his head in agreement. True, we can't allow the Akatsuki to gain control of the bijou. It will only mean more trouble for us as a whole, but I suggest both the leaf and sand start to strengthen our shinobi. But I do know one thing, the Akatsuki will start making their move within 3 years, said Jiraiya. Everyone looked shocked while they found out Itachi and Kisame are part of the Akatsuki. Has everyone wondering, if those 2 monsters are a part of this terrorist group, then who else is 3 years? Doesn't sound like a lot, but we have no choice in the matter. We must stop the Akatsuki, yelled Joseki in anger, with everyone agreeing. Ebizo turns to Chio with a curious expression as his sister has serious concentrated look. Chio, what are you thinking about? Asked Ebizo. Chio turns towards Ebizo. I'm thinking if these people are strong as Jiraiya says, it's time for me to do something I never thought I would do until this day, said Chio. With Naruto, within the backyard of the home of the Kasage household, laughing could be heard, not laughing of a child but laughing of someone crying from laughing. Within the sandy yard you can see Naruto laughing his ass off, Gaara with a who has a small smile, Temari who's grinning, and Kankuro who looks like he wants to strangle Naruto. Gaara has fair skin, green eyes, and short red hair. He lacks distinctive pupils or eyebrows. He has tanuki-like black rings around his eyes. As a child, he carved the kanji for love, AI, on the left side of his forehead, which his hair is parted in order for it to be kept visible. Gaara wears a reddish-brownish one with longer sleeves and an upright collar, and wears mesh armor on his wrists and ankles. Kankuro wears a black, baggy, full-body suit with a red and yellow circle on the front. He also wears a black hood which covered his head completely, and had cat-like ears and his forehead protector on his forehead. Kankuro at first sported a triangular face paint design, but changed to a different cross-like design. Temari has teal eyes and sandy blonde hair, which is gathered into 4 consecutive pigtails. She wears a long-sleeved purple blouse under a gray top, a dark blue skirt, and a longer sash arranged in a bow. Are telling me that Kankuro used to take your makeup and put it on myself? laughed Naruto, who has tears rolling down his face. Temari has a wide cocky grin. Yep, what did you used to say? Asked Temari as she places her finger on her chin. She then gains a smirk. Oh yeah, now I remember, he would say, fear me the great and stunning Kankuro-sama. Master of puppets, or something like that, said Temari as she shrugs her shoulders. Naruto then begins laughs silently with fresh tears rolling down his face. Kankuro glares at Naruto, but Naruto pays him no mind. He then turns to Temari. Damn you woman, roared Kankuro. I also find it quite amusing, said Gaara, causing Kankuro to face fault. Why must you always make my life so damn difficult, Temari? Groaned Kankuro. Because you make it so easy, said Temari in a teasing manner. Make up, boy, whispered Naruto. He then growls at Naruto. I am not. Fuck you, Baka, roared Kankuro. Temari lets out a giggly he, make up boy. You know I like that name. From now on you will be called Nakwapuba, make up boy, said Temari. Never, yelled Kankuro. Gaara, who's drinking some tea, stares at Kankuro. I like it, said Gaara. The four genin then hear footsteps. They turn around and see Jiraiya and Baki. Jiraiya finished with the meeting? Asked Gaara. The two shinobi nods their head. There's something we need to tell you but before that Jiraiya-sama needs to check something out, said Baki, causing the genin to give the sage and Jounin a questionable stare. Jiraiya Teacharin pulls out some chakra induction papers, said Kankuro in a confused tone, wondering why Jiraiya has those papers. Naruto glances at Kankuro. Chakra induction papers? What's that? Asked Naruto. Baki turned towards Naruto. Naruto, every person's chakra has an affinity towards one of the 5 basic nature transformations. Affinity can at times be genetic, or at least common to a particular family. Most members of the Uchiha clan have an affinity towards the fire nature. One's affinity can be determined using pieces of paper made from a special type of tree that is grown and fed with chakra. When this so-called chakra induction paper, Chakura Kanoshi, is exposed to even the slightest hint of chakra, it reacts according to the chakra's latent element, fire. The paper will ignite and turn to ash, wind the paper will split in two, lightning the paper will wrinkle, earth the paper will turn to dirt and crumble away, and water the paper will become damp, said Baki in a lectured tone. Naruto then gains a confused expression, causing everyone to shake their head negatively at Naruto's idiotic. Naruto, just pour your chakra into those papers, then you'll find out which is your element affinity. Basically, if you have fire you can use fire release, explained Temari in a professional tone. Naruto then gains an understanding expression. I get it now. Grinned Naruto. He teacher and turns towards Temari. Thanks, Temari-chan. Grinned Naruto. Temari just shrugged her shoulders. Jiraiya hands Naruto the paper, and as instructed he pours some chakra into the paper. The paper splits into, surprising everyone, so he has wind release just like Gaara and Temari, not to mention he's from Konoha, which is rare, thought Kankuro. But to Kankuro's and everyone's face goes into shock as each of the 2 pieces becomes damp and crumbles into dust. No way, he has wind, futon, earth, doton, and water release, sway-ton, yelled a surprised Kankuro. Gaara smiles at his friend. You continue to amaze me, said Gaara. Naruto rubs the back of his head nervously. Thanks, Gaara, said Naruto with a sheepless smile. Now that we have got that done, it's time to drop the bomb on you, Temari, said Baki, having the genin attention. Jiraiya turns to the female. Sunakunoichi, your council has declared that you to be joining Naruto and I on our 3-year training trip, said Jiraiya. Recap. Baki turned towards Naruto. Naruto, every person's chakra has an affinity towards one of the 5 basic nature transformations. Affinity can at times be genetic, or at least common to a particular family. Most members of the Uchiha clan have an affinity towards the fire nature. One's affinity can be determined using pieces of paper made from a special type of tree that is grown and fed with chakra. When this so-called chakra induction paper, Chakura Kanoshi, is exposed to even the slightest hint of chakra, it reacts according to the chakra's latent element, fire. The paper will ignite and turn to ash, wind the paper will split in 2, lightning the paper will wrinkle, earth the paper will turn to dirt and crumble away, and water the paper will become damp, said Baki in a lectured tone. Naruto then gains a confused expression, causing everyone to shake their head negatively at Naruto's idiotic. Naruto, just pour your chakra into those papers, then you'll find out which is your element affinity. Basically, if you have fire you can use fire release, explained Temari in a professional tone. Naruto then gains an understanding expression. I get it now. Grinned Naruto. He teacher and turns towards Temari. Thanks, Temari-chan. Grinned Naruto. Temari just shrugged her shoulders. Jiraiya hands Naruto the paper, and as instructed he pours some chakra into the paper. The paper splits into, surprising everyone, so he has wind release just like Gaara and Temari, not to mention he's from Konoha, which is rare, thought Kankuro. But to Kankuro's and everyone's face goes into shock as each of the 2 pieces becomes damp and crumbles into dust. No way, he has wind, futon, earth, doton, and water release, sway-ton, yelled a surprised Kankuro. Gaara smiles at his friend. You continue to amaze me, said Gaara. Naruto rubs the back of his head nervously. Thanks, Gaara, said Naruto with a sheepless smile. Now that we have got that done, it's time to drop the bomb on you, Temari, said Baki, having the genin attention. Jiraiya turns to the female. Sunakunoichi, your council has declared that you to be joining Naruto and I on our 3-year training trip, said Jiraiya. Recap and Gaara just stares at Toad Sannin with a surprised expression on his face with his green-colored eyes shot open wide. Kankuro just stares at Jiraiya with a stunned look on his war-painted face, and Temari stares at Jiraiya with shocked and disbelief expression. WHWH what? BB but why? Stuttered Temari, who's shocked beyond belief. But as for Naruto, he just stand in confusion, not even knowing Temari is coming with him on his 3 training trip. Naruto stares at Jiraiya with a confused look. Hey! What the hell, Ero-sennin? I thought you were only training me, yelled Naruto. Jiraiya then hits Naruto on top of his head. Quit calling me that brat, yelled Jiraiya. He then turned towards Temari with a serious expression. He then turned towards Baki. Since she's your student, I believed you're the one who should tell her, said Jiraiya as he stares at the Tsunade. Baki nods in agreement. Yes, of course, Jiraiya-sama. Temari, the council has decided you will go on a 3-year training mission. This is also a mission for you to grow strong enough to protect the village, said Baki in a serious tone. Temari narrows her eyes at Baki. But why would I need to leave the village, Baki-sensei? There's something you're not telling me, stated Temari with glare. He then released a hollow chuckle. Always the perceptive one, Temari. The reason you must leave and train with Jiraiya-sama is because there's a group of S-rank ninjas after Naruto and Gaara. No, that wouldn't be right. There after what each has their bijou. As far as we know, the only members of this group are Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hashigaki, said Baki, shocking the 3 siblings. Gaara glares at Baki, not the same level of glare as it was once, but still a notable glare. What are they called? Demanded Gaara with his eyes becoming cold. But Baki doesn't back down. They call themselves Akatsuki. We're not sure of their motives, but both Konoha and Sunagakure must be strong enough to handle the threat, said Baki. Chio then walks up to Temari with a serious expression and shook her head negatively. No, if what Jiraiya-sama said is true, then each village will be strong. If not, then who knows what they might be, especially with monsters such as Itachi and Kisame. But just you joining Uzumaki here on a training trip with Jiraiya. I will be taking a student, something I thought I would never actually do, said Chio. Really, Lady Chio, who are you planning to take as your student? Asked the shocked Temari. But instead of answering her, she just points her finger at Kankuro. Congratulations, Kankuro, you will now be my student, said a smiling Chio. Kankuro points at himself, and she nods her head. Me? But why me? I'm not ungrateful, Lady Chio, but why me of all people? Asked the bewildered Kankuro with his brown eyes widening with utter shock. Chio smiles warmly at him. It's quite simple, Kankuro. You are one of the most killed puppeteers in the village, and it's about time that I accept my mistakes and move on with. Only moving on can we truthfully move on, said Chio. Kankuro then bows towards Chio. I'm grateful that you'll be taking as your student, Chio-sensei, said a respectful Kankuro. He then turned his attention towards Baki. When will Temari be leaving? Asked Kankuro. Baki then turned towards Jiraiya, who gained a sweat drop on the side of his head at having the attention on him. Well, honestly, I wasn't planning on coming here, but I've had to change my original plan, but the sooner the better. We must be on constant move. We can't allow the Akatsuki to know Naruto's whereabouts, said Jiraiya. He then turned towards Gaara. But before I do leave, I must finish the request, said Jiraiya. Gaara raised an eyebrow. What is this request you speaks of, Jiraiya? Asked Gaara. Jiraiya grins at Gaara. To fix your seal, of course. Hey, Lady Chio, do you have anywhere I can take Gaara to fix his seal? Asked Jiraiya. Chio nods her head. Yeah, there is actually. I'll take you, said Chio. Jiraiya nods his head. He then turned towards the 4 genin. Naruto, you're coming with me. I plan to teach you Fuinjutsu, and you should watch me. Temari, use this time to pack what you need. Ordered Jiraiya. He then walls with Chio, with Naruto running up with Gaara, hoping to talk to his fellow Jinchuriki before they knew it. They were in an underground location below the hospital. Naruto then turned towards Gaara. Hey, Gaara, do you think Temari is okay? I mean, she is being ordered to leave her village. I would be pretty down if you asked me, asked Naruto. Even though he wasn't that bright, he understood the serious tension. After all, when Kakashi had brought him back to the village, he had to leave Konohagakure, not really being able to say his good. Gaara crossed his arms and just stares at the buildings around. Gaara had summarized this level was ancient, and could be where people have gone to be sealed by Shikaku. I believed she would get over it. Temari is not someone who has a weak. She understands this must be done to protect her village, but she is saddened by the fact she must for 3 years, said Gaara. He then turned towards Naruto, who has his hands behind his neck. Naruto Uzumaki, can I ask you something? Asked Gaara. Naruto's puzzled face turned to his notorious fox-like smile with wide grin. Sure, Gaara, we're friends, exclaimed Naruto with a wide grin. Gaara smiles at Naruto. That's good to hear. I want you watch out for her. I know this might seem strange since Temari is strong in her right, but with my eyes open I feel horrible how I acted towards her and Kankuro, said Gaara. Naruto just grins at him with a thumbs up. You don't have to worry about anything, Gaara. Naruto Uzumaki is on the job. Databayo, exclaimed Naruto. Chio smiles at the 2 Jinchuriki while Jiraiya smirks at the fact these 2 were once enemies and now appears to be best friends. Gaara smiles at Naruto. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, you are a true friend, said the youngest son of Raza. He then turned towards Jiraiya. How will you fix the seal? Asked Gaara. I will place a 8 trigram sealing style, Hack no Fuinshiki, on you. This was the same seal the Yondaime used to seal Kyuubi inside of Naruto. Now Gaara, remove your shirt, ordered Jiraiya. Gaara nods his head and removes all of his clothing. Jiraiya then placed his hand on Gaara's stomach. Both Naruto and Chio are treated to see the sealing formula move from the Sanin's arm to Gaara's stomach. Gaara then falls back on the ground. Naruto quickly rushes to help his friend up. Gaara, are you okay? Asked Naruto. Gaara nods his head with a smile. I feel better than I've ever felt. Stated Gaara. He then turned towards Jiraiya and bows to him. Thank you, Jiraiya-sama. Said Gaara. Jiraiya waves him off. It's no problem. Forcing you to live with flawed seal is just cruel. Besides, now you can get some sleep without worrying about Shikaku taking control over you. Grinned Jiraiya. He then turned towards Chio. Yes, what is it? Asked Jiraiya. Does that boy know of his heritage? I noticed that seal from anywhere even though I'm just a novice at Fuinjutsu. That was an Uzumaki seal. Whispered Chio. Jiraiya shook his head negatively, at which shocked Chio since she believed the child deserves to know of his origin. After all, when she was younger the Uzumaki clan were nothing to joke about and their Fuinjutsu were the most powerful. No one could match them in Fuinjutsu. But those red-haired clan were just all around powerful. No one would dare fight a group of them. Especially Ashina and Mito Uzumaki. Those two were a powerhouse in their own right. After all, Mito is the one who taught her granddaughter about medical ninjutsu. I know he has every right, but the problem was I couldn't tell him in the village, mostly because of Danzo. Whispered Jiraiya. Lady Chio narrowed her at Jiraiya. He was one of Sandaime Hokage's teammate. Whispered Chio. She remembered the man clearly. He was not one who represented what Konoha or their will of fire was supposed to be. He's not to be trusted. I'm sure you know this, but from my spy network I found multiple files of every dirty work he's done, like having one of his root ninja attempt to assassinate Sabutobi-sensei. I'm not sure why Sabutobi-sensei hasn't done anything, but Tsunade plans to fix that. Whispered Jiraiya in a low tone. He never really understood why his sensei allowed Danzo, but luckily both him and Tsunade won't make the same mistake their sensei has. He already plans to make sure Naruto won't make the same mistake as him. Jiraiya knew his teammate Sasuke Uchiha was just like Orochimaru. They both hunger for power. Those two would do anything to achieve powerful, and he knew Orochimaru would sacrifice as many lives as needed to achieve whatever dark, cruel experiment. While he didn't know Sasuke, he knew his type. The Uchiha is the power-hungry type. He would do anything to achieve power. The White Net knew even he is somehow to kill Itachi, he wouldn't go back to the village. No, he'll just direct his hatred somewhere else. Sasuke wasn't the type to let go of his hatred. Chio smiles at Jiraiya with a sly smile. It seems like both our villages struggle with their own problems. But your student is amazing, you know, to be able to save Gaara from his own darkness, and was able to save his own village from Gaara's rampage. I have to say that's quite impressive. Said Chio. Jiraiya smirks at Naruto and Gaara. Yeah, I do. He's not like any genin. He has untapped potential just waiting to be unlocked. Said Jiraiya. Naruto, come on. Hey, have a big schedule and I'll teach you something. Said Jiraiya with a smirk. Naruto doesn't even say anything, rush towards. He then begged Ina to bounce up and down in excitement. Really? What you going to teach me? Am I going to learn how to shot fire out of my eyes or shot knives out of my hands? Yelled Naruto with excitement. Jiraiya just rolls his eyes at Naruto, while Chio snickers at his enthusiasm. Just come on, brat, we have much to do. Said Jiraiya. Both Chio and Gaara follows the Konoha duo. When they return to the gates of Suna, they are greeted to see the councilman, Kankuro, a fellow Kunoichi Maki, and Temari, who has her iron fan, Tez-san, with her and a bag on her back. Jiraiya smiles at her, ready to go. Jiraiya. Temari just shrugged her shoulders. Ready as I ever be, Jiraiya-sama. Said Temari. He just nods his head. Right then, let's go. There's a lot we have to do. Said Jiraiya. Both blondes their heads. Time skip. Location: Land of Rivers, Gunraku Forest. The Land of Rivers, Kawa no Kuni, is a small country that is situated between the borders of the Land of Wind and the Land of Fire. The small country has a calm-like weather. Most say this country is a country of spring with large and wide grass fields, medium-sized trees but don't overshadow the land, such as the trees in Konoha. Even the very mountains are covered in grass. Temari stares at Jiraiya. So, what will you be teaching us? There must be a reason why you've taken us all the way out here. Even the village Tanigakure, village hidden in the valleys, is a small village that isn't well known? Asked Temari with a look of suspension. Jiraiya chuckles. You're quite perspective, but you're not wrong. I've chosen Land of Rivers because it's not very well known, but people mostly come here for a relaxing vacation of nothingness and to have a new start. Thus place is mostly very quiet. Plus with its open wide field would be a good training area, but this also takes us en route to Land of Metal, Kin no Kuni. It's also where one of my colleges lives, said Jiraiya. Naruto scratches the side of his head in confusion. Land of Metal? Replied Naruto. What's that? Questioned Temari. The Land of Metal, it is a country south from here. The landscape of the land is that of a rocky, high desert, with most of the environment being composed of dry soil and with the rare appearance of wildlife, such as trees or even large-scale animals. Minigakure, hidden in the mountain peak, also known as Village Hidden by the Ridge or Hidden Ridge Village, is an hidden shinobi village in the land of several villages. Instead of a Kage, the village's highest standing individual is the village leader, Sato Ise. But you shouldn't worry about it, we won't go there until 1 month later, said Jiraiya. Temari narrows her green-colored eyes at her new sensei. Wait, are you saying we are staring here for a month? Asked Temari. Jiraiya grins at her. Yep, but I also need to know what you can do, Temari. I've seen your fight with the Nara kid during the Chunin, but I obviously know you are very intelligent, even able making Shikaku's kid trouble, and he's a born genius. I know you're skilled in wind release, photon, and you seem like you are even able to easily deduce an opponent's strategies and weaknesses soon after a battle begins. But I also see some missing holes," said Jiraiya in a teaching tone. "Missing holes? There is no missing holes. I was able to easily kill a elite sound ninja," said Temari in an imprudent tone. "That may be true, but you rely on your fan too much. What if someone was able to separate it from you or destroy it? Have you actually used your element without your fan, or how about your taijutsu, and I mean without your fan?" said Jiraiya. "While you're a skilled kunoichi, you must not look over these holes or it will cost you your life. But luckily various wind, earth, and water release scrolls on me. But first there's something that must be done," said Jiraiya. Temari can't help but to look down in shame since no one has actually reprimanded her. Everyone had always praised her skills. Naruto then scoffed at Jiraiya, causing both Temari and Naruto to turn towards him. "What's that? You gonna peep on her, you perv?" insulted Naruto. Jiraiya glares at Naruto. "You fool. Your tiny brain just doesn't understand true work of literature. And I've told you I'm a super pervert," yelled Jiraiya, but the perverted Sannin forget he was in the presence of a female. He turned towards her, and was smacked against the head by her steel fan. "Try anything, I'll do worse," threatened Temari with her fan ready. Jiraiya quickly recovers and raises up from the ground. "Ahaha, silly girl, I have no interest in children," said Jiraiya. He then glares at Naruto. "I told you it's research, brat. You are just too young," exclaimed a grinning Jiraiya. His foolish persona then crumbles and becomes one of seriousness. "But no, Naruto, I'm not talking about my books. What I'm talking about is the true purpose of the clones," said Jiraiya. "What do you mean, Ero-sennin?" asked Naruto. "Do either of you know who actually created the shadow clone technique, Kage no Bunshin?" asked Jiraiya. He watches as both genin shook their heads negatively. "The jutsu was created by Tobirama Senju, the Nidaime Hokage. He created this jutsu to the perfect spying and information gathering jutsu. While the jutsu creates a clone, it also has a second fictional that allows the clone to gain knowledge once it dispels," said Jiraiya. Temari looked shocked while Naruto just looked completely lost beyond belief. "Huh," replied Naruto in a dumb-like way. Jiraiya groaned at this moment. He knew the teachers didn't really teach him, but the Sannin just knew getting the boy's intelligence where it's supposed to be anything but easy. Temari then turned towards Jiraiya. "So you're saying if Naruto sent a clone into the city, and it puffed away, he will gain the memory of the clone?" asked Temari. Jiraiya nods his head. Naruto then gains an expression of realization. "Oh, I get it now!" exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya turned to Naruto so fast he nearly gave himself whiplash. "What? You understand her example and not mine?" roared Jiraiya. Naruto grins at Temari. He then turned towards his Toad-sensei. "Yep, I sure do. She makes it easy to understand," said Naruto with a bright grin on his whiskered cheeks. Jiraiya smirked at this. "Okay, maybe this could work in my favor," thought Jiraiya. He turned towards Jiraiya with a wide grin. "If you understand, then you can finish learning the Rasengan, Naruto," roared Jiraiya. The blonde Konoha shinobi stares at Jiraiya with a wide expression. "What? But I already know the Rasengan," exclaimed Naruto with disbelief. Jiraiya then runs his hand through his long white mane hair. "Naruto, you have to use the clone to use a clone to create a clone, then you haven't truly learned the clone. Naruto, what if you go up against someone who's faster than you or someone who uses a long-distance jutsu? What are you going to do?" asked Jiraiya. Naruto then looks down. The Rasengan is powerful jutsu created by the Yondaime Hokage. "You do wish to surpass him, don't you?" questioned Jiraiya. Naruto gains a million. "What smile? Hell yeah!" roared Naruto. "Then create 100 clones and split them into a team of 10, and send every clone apart from each other. I also want you to dispel each clone every 10 minutes. After you're able to completely learn the Rasengan, we'll start working on your taijutsu," said Jiraiya. "Wait, what are you going to doing?" questioned Naruto with a questionable glare. He bet the Sannin was just going to run off and peep on some woman. Jiraiya rolled his eyes at the male blonde, knowing what his male student was thinking. "I'm going to be working with Temari's wind nature now before you start yelling about me ditching you or something. I'm going to send 5 clones to oversee your progress," said Jiraiya. Naruto slowly nods his head. "And how long will I be doing this?" asked Naruto. "You will be training to complete the Rasengan to morning to dawn. You're going to be here for a while, and like you said, there are no shortcuts becoming the Hokage," said Jiraiya, making Naruto blush in embarrassment. Temari shot Naruto a deadpan expression. "Wait a minute, was Naruto really thinking of having a clone help him?" thought Temari. Jiraiya then creates a number of 5 clones in total. Each of them then split up in different teams. Jiraiya and Temari don't stop walking until they arrive in a grassy field that's not surrounded by tree. Jiraiya then surveys his surroundings with a look of thinking this'll work, especially with the trees out the way. "Alright Temari, I'm positive you've learned the wind nature exercise, correct?" asked Jiraiya. Temari, who's leaning against her fan, nods her head. "Yeah, it was taught to me at a young age, but we had own wind nature exercise. I'm not sure how Konoha does it since there are very few wind users in your village," said Temari. He nods his head in agreement. "That's right. Now the only wind users in the village right now is Asuma Sabutobi and the retired shinobi Danzo. There's 2 phases Konoha ninjas use. The first is to cut a leaf in half with their chakra, and second phase is to wind to halt the flow of a waterfall," said Jiraiya. "That sounds pretty hard. For empty village we had used our wind chakra to cut through a rock, and then we have to use cut through a strong dust storm," said Temari in flat tone. Well damn, but now let's teach some wind jutsu. I'll be teaching the most well-known jutsu wind release, great breakthrough, futon, de tapa. You must channel a stream of wind chakra expelled from your mouth. The hand signs of this technique are tiger, ox, dog, rabbit, and snake. Ordered Jiraiya. He then shows her the required hand signs. Ready? Asked Jiraiya. Temari gives Jiraiya a nod with a cocky smirk. Yeah, I'm ready, said Temari. She then goes through the proper hand signs and channels the wind element through her mouth. Wind release, great breakthrough, futon, de tapa, yelled Temari, but instead of a gust of wind expelling from her mouth, she's flown back by the input of the jutsu. She then groans in pain. Damn, that hurt, groaned Temari. Jiraiya kneels down in front of her with a snarky smirk. Well, I knew you wouldn't be able to get it down at first, snickered Jiraiya. The female kunoichi glares at Jiraiya's smirking face. If you were able to get it down would be astonishing, but with you neglecting the wind nature I accepted that to actually happen, said Jiraiya. So, what did I do wrong? Asked Temari. Well, channeled way too much chakra through lungs, which is fly you flown. But it seems like we'll be going through the basics, said Jiraiya. Temari then Gaina curious look. Jiraiya-sama, have to ask, what exactly are we going to be doing here? I mean, I doubt we're going to be staying here just for me to fix with wind's nature and Naruto completing the Rasengan. We're here for something else, aren't we? Questioned Temari with a serious expression. Jiraiya then gains a serious expression. Yes, there is. One of my spies informed me the mining town is being used as a hideout for Orochimaru. He even informed me he saw Kabuto, one of Orochimaru's servants and a member of Root. Root are disbanded emotionless group who serve and only serve Danzo, who's a traitor. The only reason why he has lived so long is because my sensei allowed it. But my spy had informed me in the lower levels there have been dead bodies coming into the village. These are the diseased bodies of the Uchiha, Senju, Kurama, Hyuga, Kagaya, and Yuki clan. And they even have a level even farther down, but he doesn't know what's in there, said Jiraiya with serious lecture tone. Temari stares at Jiraiya with shock and horror. She couldn't believe someone would mess with dead just to create a new breed of shinobi, but then she was forced to remember that Orochimaru is the same person who killed her father and manipulate her village, but this was horrible. So, that's why we are truly here to stop whatever experiments that's going down below, stated Temari. Yeah, that's right, this would be an A-rank mission. I'm not how much your espionage skills are, but I'll be training both you and Naruto in assassination, said Jiraiya. She raised an eyebrow at Jiraiya. Are you sure you're going to be able to train both of level of skill aren't exactly on the same level? Asked Temari. Jiraiya just waved her off. I know that. Have you forgotten I've trained the Yondaime? Besides, I've had 4 students in total. Besides, training you 2 beats will be no problem, laughed Jiraiya, ignoring the annoyed Sunagakure kunoichi. Back in Konoha, Tsunade stares at Sakura with a hardened glare while the young pinknet just looks surprised and confused. She then shifts her shoulders in a nervous manner, as she's being glared at by the Senju woman. Tsunade-sama, I didn't quite hear you. Can you repeat that? Asked Sakura in a respectful tone. Tsunade mentally sighed, hoping what she's doing is right. You heard me loud and clear, Sakura. I said I won't train you, said Tsunade. She honestly hoped what she's doing is right. She knew what she's about to do is harsh, but she's the Hokage. But why I have to rescue Saki-kun? Yelled Sakura in a heartbroken tone. She didn't understand. She was sure Tsunade would teach her, and that is why. You are only focused on Sasuke. You have no true drive or goal other than Sasuke. Sakura, what if Sasuke returned but he didn't accept your feelings? I'm sorry, but I will not train a fangirl. Not only that, but you've never trained. Besides, even if you, Naruto, and Kakashi went after him, will you be able to fight him, kill him if you have to? What would you do if he comes after you intent to end your life? Said Tsunade. Sakura with tears in her eyes glares at the busy medic. You're lying, Saki wouldn't hurt me. He wouldn't hurt any of us, roared a crying Sakura. Tsunade massages the temple of her forehead. She then glares daggers at Sakura. Is that what you believe? Asked the stoic Tsunade. Sakura nods. Then you're not fit to be a kunoichi of Konohagakure. Not only have ignored that Naruto nearly died because of Sasuke, but your fellow comrades nearly died trying to bring him back. But also Sasuke went to Orochimaru not because he was being influenced or forced. He went to Orochimaru of choice. I'm sorry, Sakura, but I will be forced to put him in the bingo book from no one. Sasuke Uchiha is a missing mean and traitor. Sakura Haruno, I cannot have a ninja who is not committed to protecting the village. Give me your headband, ordered Tsunade, then watches as Sakura storms out crying. Tsunade, release the Sai. Shizen, come in, ordered Tsunade. Shizen is a fair-skinned woman of average height and slender build with onyx eyes and jet black hair. Her hair is straight and shoulder-length with bangs that cover her ears and frame her face. Normally, Shizen is seen in a long bluish-black kimono with white trimmings, held closed by a white obi, and open-toed sandals with low heels. Shizen enters the two with a bow. What do you need, Tsunade-sama? Asked Shizen in a respectful tone. She watches as Tsunade rises from her seat. Shizen, please cancel Sakura's ninja license. There's somewhere I must be, said Tsunade. She nods her head. She then turned towards Tsunade with uneasy and concerned expression. Tsunade-sama, do you think you've made the right choice? I mean canceling her license? Asked Shizen. She released a sigh of tiredness. I believe so, but this is right for the village. I cannot have a weak ninja in my village. You've went through her file, correct? Questioned Tsunade Shizen, then nods her head. Then you know her only reasoning was to gain Sasuke's attention. Besides, you know how many fangirls became kunoichi, right? Asked Tsunade Shizen, then gains a grim look. You're doing this to protect, aren't you? Asked Shizen. Tsunade nods her head and leaves the office, making her way to the Yamanaka household. She knocks on the door and gets greeted to Ino's mother. Harumi has light brown eyes, without pupils, and brown hair which is tied into a bun with a red ribbon in it. Strands frame both sides of her face, hanging over her ears from behind them. She is fair-skinned, and slight wrinkles are visible near her mouth. Her attire consists of a dark teal elegant dress, which sports an aquamarine-colored gem below the collar. Harumi smiles at Tsunade. Hokage-sama, what can I do for you? Asked the brunette with a surprised expression on her face. Tsunade smiles warmly at Harumi. Is your daughter and husband here? Asked Tsunade with a warm aura around her. Yes, there are. Said Harumi. The two enter her home and go in the backyard, seeing Inoichi and Ino training Inoichi-kun. Ino-chan, Tsunade-sama is right. Both turn towards Tsunade. Both of the blonde's eyes are wide open. Tsunade-sama, what are you doing here? Exclaimed a shocked Ino, who's staring at Tsunade with utter disbelief. Inoichi quickly bows to the Sannin. He then gives his daughter a hard look. She in return bows her head, and hoping to hide her embarrassment, welcome Tsunade-sama. What can we do for you? Asked Inoichi. He figured Tsunade didn't come here for a visit or check on them. If he had to guess, it was important. Well, I came to see you, Ino, said Tsunade. Both father and daughter stares at the medic Hokage with a shocked expression. Before I tell you why I came, there's a question I have. If you answer right, then I'll explain why I'm here and why I have sought you out. Explained Tsunade. Ino can't help but fidget around in a nervous manner. Tsunade smiles at her. My question is quite simple actually. What is your goal? Asked Tsunade. Ino stares at Tsunade with a confused look. My goal? Asked Ino. Tsunade nods her head. It sounds like something Asuma asked when we first met him back then. My dream was to make Sasuke mine, but he left the village to join Orochimaru. Thought Ino. She then remembers her friends had nearly died when they were sent to rescue. Both Niji and Choji were on death's door. Kiba and Shikamaru would have been dead if it wasn't for Temari and Kankuro. They would die. She can still remember seeing Choji's shriveled body. It was a sight that will never leave her. Ino then looks down to her feet. After a whole minute of silence, she looks down at her feet. She then looks at Tsunade, staring at her hazel eyes. I don't want to be on the sidelines when my teammates are putting their lives on the line. I want to be with them, fighting by their side. I'm done being the hopeless little girl, said Ino. Tsunade smiles at this. I'm glad to hear. I actually declined Sakura to be my apprentice because of the answer. Her answer was Sasuke, said Tsunade. Ino didn't seem all that surprised. The only thing that appeared to be on her mind but to hear Sasuke was Sakura's dream is a bit disappointing, especially after everything that has happened. Fortunately, you didn't give the same response as her, which is why I have decided to take you on as my apprentice, said Tsunade. What? Really? You want to train me? Muttered Ino. She heard Naruto is being trained by Jiraiya. To be trained by one of the legendary Sannin was a huge honor. Tsunade nods her head. Ino bows her head. I'm grateful for you choosing me to be your apprentice. I won't make you regret it, said Ino with a million-ton smile. Tsunade smiles at Ino. Your training starts tomorrow morning. Meet me at the hospital at 6 a.m., and don't be late, smiled Tsunade. Hi. Sure show, exclaimed Ino. Never in her life had she felt so happy. She was being trained by Tsunade Senju, the Godame Hokage, the Slug Sannin, and the world's greatest medic. She knew it would be only a matter of time before Sakura found out. She just hopes her friend can find her own path and realize Sasuke was not the dreamboat they would always dream of. After the Sasuke retrieval mission, it was a real eye-opener for everyone. She knew Tent and might feel the same way since Niji was critical condition and Lee was also injured when he and Gaara fought the Bone User, with Naruto, Temari, and Jiraiya. Next morning location, Land of Rivers, Gamico Forest. Temari's eyes stared in shock as she stares Naruto and his clones who are practicing the Rasengan. She can still remember when he summoned over hundreds of clones to fight Gaara. She knew that was something she won't ever forget. Hell, she was one of the people who underestimated him. She along with everyone didn't believe he can beat Kiba or Niji, but the blonde proved them wrong. He was still an idiot, but at least wasn't an idiot that was all talking. The blonde can at least back it up. She can't help but wonder when they infiltrate Orochimaru's hideout, will Naruto be able to do what needs to be done? She could already tell he never got his hands bloody. He was also still quite naive and green behind the ears. Hell yeah, I did it, cheered Naruto. Temari is awakened from her daze and sees the 10 clones disperse in a huge cloud of smoke. She blinks at her fellow blonde in confusion. Wait, what? It's only been the second day, exclaimed Temari. She just couldn't believe it. She then narrowed her eyes at the short genin. Show me, said Temari. Naruto grins widely at her. He then extends his hand out, and the Rasengan forms. You actually did it, exclaimed a shocked Temari. The brat learned it in a week, said Jiraiya, appearing behind next to Temari out nowhere, causing Temari to jump back in surprise. She glares at the Toad Sannin for invading her personal space. Well, a deal is a deal. It's time to fix that shitty taijutsu of yours, said Jiraiya, causing Naruto to glare at Jiraiya, but the white-haired gives him a deadpan look, at which Naruto rubs the back of his head. Jiraiya then tosses Naruto a scroll, who stares at it in confusion. Pour Chakra into it, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto does as ordered and pumped Chakra into it. A cloud covers the scroll. As the cloud vanishes, various of scrolls appears along with a Kusarigama. That scroll contains ninjutsu, taijutsu, Kisarigama jutsu, and Kayakujutsu of Hanzo the Salamander, said Jiraiya. Naruto stares at Jiraiya in confusion. Hanzo of the Salamander? Repeated Naruto. Jiraiya sighs at this. He really needed to make Naruto smart. Hopefully with Temari here he can get Naruto up to Minato's intelligence, or at least Kushina's level. He was a warlord in Amigakure. He was the one that gave me, Orochimaru, and Tsunade our Sannin title. We also couldn't kill him, and we were in our prime, said Jiraiya, shocking the two blonde duos. Temari narrows her eyes at Jiraiya. How exactly did you get that scroll? Getting into Amigakure is near impossible, said Temari. Jiraiya grins at the Sunagakure Kunoichi in a cocky manner, but in a proud manner. It was all thanks to my spy network. If it wasn't for him, might have to wing it, but fortunately, that isn't the case, said Jiraiya. Naruto and Temari stare at the man in shock and amazement. Jiraiya turns towards Naruto with a serious look. From here on I won't be lenient. With your training I will be training you harder than before. We don't have time to simply sit around and take our precious time. I can assure you the Akatsuki and Orochimaru won't be at easy. Now I will tell you this only once I am training the two of you to be ready and prepared for the Akatsuki. The truth is, even if Orochimaru did get Sasuke's body, he still wouldn't be a match for some of the more powerhouse members. And I don't want to hear any buts, said Jiraiya in a hardened tone, stopping Naruto from interrupting him. Jiraiya sighs and runs his hand through his long white. I know how you feel, Naruto. I was exactly in your spot when Orochimaru left and betrayed the village. I wanted my best friend back, but the man who I trusted over the years is gone. The moment he slashed his headband he marked himself as an enemy of Konoha, said Jiraiya. He then looks at Naruto with a sober look as the blonde shinobi who has his head lowered and gains a sad expression. Naruto, let me ask you something. Can you really consider Sasuke your friend when he joined the man who killed Sarutobi-sensei? Questioned Jiraiya. His blue eyes widened. He didn't have the answer. In most cases he would just exclaim, Sasuke isn't anything like Orochimaru, but Sasuke did to kill him. He had also tried using the Chidorian when Tsunade took him out of the coma he was in. He was also being an ungrateful bastard. When he woke up he honestly didn't know what to actually believe. He really wished the old man was here. Temari then bonks him on the head, knocking Naruto of his days. He turns towards Temari with a curious expression. She stares at him with a hardened stare. So, what, you're just going mope around? Isn't your goal to be Hokage? Sasuke made his choice, now to choose yours. Do you want to be stronger to help your village, or do you want to be stuck in a slump like a sick dog? Naruto, you are being trained by one of the Sannin. That's the biggest honor. People would kill for that opportunity, said Temari. Seeing the young boy acting like someone had just killed his puppy was quite annoying. Jiraiya nods his head. She's right, Naruto. Being trained by the Sannin is as much of an honor as being trained by the Hokage. But Naruto, do you forever want to be known as a knucklehead ninja, or do you want to be known as a powerful Kage-level shinobi? Questioned Jiraiya. If I'm able to open his eyes and ditch that childish personal of his, then he could even surpass myself. I wouldn't doubt it if he even surpassed you, Minato. Thought the Sannin. He had faith. Naruto was the one the old sage spoke about, and if he anything like her, then he has a natural-born talent for Fuinjutsu. Thought Jiraiya. Does he want to be known as a knucklehead for the rest of his ninja career? He knew his answer. If he wanted to be a great Hokage, he'll need a name to match his strength. Naruto grins at Jiraiya with a wide grin, and his cerulean-colored eyes shined with a brand new sense of determination and conviction. Naruto then punches his palm. Well, what are we waiting for, pervy sage? Let's get started, exclaimed Naruto, and I swear, Sasuke, I'll beat you. Thought Naruto. He doesn't like that Sasuke left the village to join Orochimaru, but that doesn't mean he's going to sit back and let Orochimaru continue to destroy any more lives. Jiraiya grins at Naruto. He may have not given up on saving Sasuke, but at least he's learning. Maybe one day he'll see Sasuke isn't worth it. After all, Gaara and Naruto are more alike than Sasuke and Naruto. Then again, he always had a feeling Sasuke wasn't that loyal of a ninja. Temari's eyes widened. That on his reminded her when he and Gaara fought. It was the same expression he had when he saved her from her brother. Her eyes then widened as she notices her cheeks turning a cherry red. Wait. Am I blushing? Thought Temari in shock. She then mentally shook her head at the thought of Naruto making her blush. Jiraiya grins at Naruto. Good. Time to take off the kid gloves. Your training starts now, and trust me, you'll hate me by the end of the day, said Jiraiya. Naruto grins at the white-haired man. Just try me, pervy sage. I ain't scared, exclaimed Naruto, pointing his finger at Jiraiya. Jiraiya's eyebrow twitches at Naruto's nickname for him. Okay, if this brat wants to taken seriously, he'll need some manners, thought Jiraiya. His eyes then turns towards Temari. Maybe with her here he'll get smarter, thought Jiraiya. He then digs into his sleeves and takes out a blank scroll. The two blonde children watch as a cloud envelopes the scroll. As the cloud vanishes, they four black warmers, black beads necklace, a black rope which resembles the belt worn by the Sound 4. Here, catch, said Jiraiya, but as the new training gear touches Naruto, he is thrown to the floor. Jiraiya then laughs his ass off. Minato had the same reaction. Ahaha, each of their weight is about 50 pounds, laughed the Sannin. Temari's eyes widened in surprise. She watches as Naruto puts on the training gear and struggles to stand up. Naruto gains a strained grin. Thth, this is nothing, said Naruto. Jiraiya stares in amusement as he watches Naruto's body tremble. I am glad to hear that, said Jiraiya as the Sannin makes the tiger hand sign. A dark blue ceiling formula appears all around the new training gear. Naruto then plummets to ground. The small child lets out a loud groan as struggles to get to his feet. Did I forget to mention, once the seals on the training gear adds another 40 pounds of weight, said Jiraiya with a smirk. Both Temari's and Naruto's eyes went wide with shock and horror. What? Are insane, / are you nuts, pervy sage? Exclaimed two blonde teens. Jiraiya simply shrugged his shoulders. If that's you feel, Naruto can always give up, said the Sannin with a cheeky grin. As if magic, Naruto found the energy to raise his feet and begins to run for warm-ups. Do a 20 miles jog around the village, yelled Jiraiya. The Sannin ignore the angry shout of the Jinchuriki. Temari stares at Jiraiya with a deadpan expression. You're a real slave driver, aren't you? Asked Temari. Jiraiya snickers at her. Guilty as charged, said Jiraiya in a cheeky tone. But what I'm doing is no different from how I trained my own team and those other kids. Naruto must be strong not just for himself but for the world as a whole. Naruto not only needs to know to master his Bija's chakra but needs to be a capable ninja who doesn't rely on Kyuubi's chakra. There's but doubt about it. I have to train him harder with Itachi and Kisame out there. He needs to be able to handle those two, thought Jiraiya. He knew from his spy network had told him Itachi and Kisame were assigned to capture Naruto, while Sasori and Deidara was assigned to capture Gaara. Jiraiya then turns towards Temari, who raised an eyebrow. What? Asked Temari. Get moving! Exclaimed Jiraiya, who makes a moving along hand motion. Temari stares at him with a look of shock. What? I am training both of you. If the brat runs, so do you, exclaimed Jiraiya. Unlike Naruto, who openly complained, Temari just sighs. Jiraiya then hands her similar training gear. He watches as the two blondes run. He wasn't surprised that Temari had little trouble putting the gear on, mostly due to her years training with her large fan. After many hours of various of what Jiraiya would call light training, the two blondes collapse to the ground. The white-haired man laughs at the two who had glared at him. Now that the warms-ups are over, the real training could begin. He ignores the groans of protest. Rest is over, said Jiraiya. He then creates a single clone and turns towards Temari. My clone will help with your taijutsu while I'll help the brat, said Jiraiya. He and Naruto walked towards it. Clearly, with Naruto struggling to each step, it felt like his very bones were going to give up on him. He couldn't help but wonder, is this how the old man trained pervy sage, Tsunade Bakan, and Orochimaru? While Jiraiya was teaching Naruto Hanzo's taijutsu style, the red prey step, Akanori no Ken, while the clone was teaching Temari the willow fist, Yanagi Ken. Now brat, let's get started, said Jiraiya. Naruto grins at his sensei. Right, let's get started, exclaimed a grinning Naruto. Great to hear. Now relax your body, you are too stiff, said Jiraiya, hitting his apprentice on the head, causing the blonde to hit the ground. Naruto groans in annoyance. The blonde struggles to rise to his feet, gritting teeth in frustration, but he knew Sasuke must be doing something to this. His body burns every muscle, begging him to stop. But Naruto won't stop. He needed to be strong. He needed to bring back Sasuke. Seeing Naruto back on his feet brought a smile on his aged face. Not going to give up, asked Jiraiya. Naruto grins at Jiraiya. For a short second he saw the image of Minato and Yahiko. Jiraiya quickly shook the head of the thought. It was no time to think about such things. He's short on time thanks to Orochimaru and the Akatsuki. Fortunately, he's dealing with an Uzumaki and a member of the Kazekage clan. Since we only have 3 years, we're going to have to speed up the process, states Jiraiya. He then creates 5 clones. Alright, brat, I want you to make 20 clones, ordered Jiraiya. He quickly makes 3 clones. Before Naruto can question him on his training, he feels a drop of blood across his cheek. What the hell, Ero-senin? Exclaimed Naruto, who responded very dramatically, and waving his hands the air in a very hyper manner while stomping his foot on the ground in a childlike manner. The toad age then threw another shuriken, cutting Naruto's, causing boy to lose his balance. Damn it, Kakashi! You've really fucked up, thought Jiraiya. The sage sighs at this. If you can't avoid my weapons, then how you gonna be able to dodge from Sasuke and Itachi? What we need to do first, increase your reflexes and strength, then we can start training you how to use the taijutsu, said Jiraiya. He and his clones continued to throw kunai and shuriken at Naruto and his own clones. But being knucklehead that he is, Naruto had to replace his clones every 3 minutes or so. But as he was dodging the sharp weapons, he couldn't help but think about to the wave mission. He knew when he fought him he was unmatched. Hell, even when Sasuke's Sharingan had awoken, it was still an unmatched fight until used Kyuubi's chakra. Just like at the Valley of the End, he lost control, but unlike with Haku, he lost, and nearly lost his life. Why yite? Roared Naruto. Jiraiya accidentally throws a kunai at Naruto's shoulder. Naruto stares the kunai, then turns towards Jiraiya, staring at him. After 3 minutes of silence, he with anger, you bastard! You stabbed me, you ass! Exclaimed Naruto, glaring his sensei. Temari groans in pain as the clone sent her on her ass. Her eyebrow twitches as the clone stares at her with a smug look. She then sighs as she hears the yelling of her new teammate, and sensei, what the hell is wrong with those two? Wondered Temari. It's not my fault, brat. Why'd you scream? Yelled Jiraiya in annoyance. Naruto removes the kunai from his shoulder and grunts as he removes the blade. He then tosses the bloody kunai, drops it to the floor. He then turns towards Jiraiya with a confused expression. I just remember something, exclaimed Naruto. He then pointed at Jiraiya, causing the man to raise an eyebrow at his apprentice. You said Temari joining us was a political mission, yelled Naruto. Took the brat long enough to realize it, thought Jiraiya. He then gains a serious look. This was made by Tsunade and the Council of Sunagakure. This mission was made to show both villages still had strong ties with each other. Orochimaru had really screwed Konoha and Suna over with this war. Both were hit hard because of the war. Both villages are on the edge, but with your friendship with Gaara does make things easier, but only by a little bit. said Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes widen. Wait, then that means both villages are still at odds. Exclaimed Naruto. He remembers when Gaara had seen him in the hospital, all nurses and doctors had glared at him, and his siblings, the look they sent them was the same. When the older generation would glare at him, it was the same look they would give me. Thought Naruto. We need to build our trust with each other. That is the reason why Temari is here. This is also considered a B-rank mission. I not only have to train her, but we can't allow anything to happen to her. She is from the Kazekage clan, said Jiraiya. Naruto gulped very loudly. He knew if something were to happen to her, Gaara would kill him. Plus he found Baki scary, way scarier. Thank Anko. A cold shiver went down his spine at the thought of the purple-haired woman. Jiraiya snickers at Naruto's scared face. Must be thinking of Baki. Well, he is strong and capable, Jounin. Thought Jiraiya. He then gains a sly grin. Then you'll just have to protect her, said Jiraiya. Yeah. I'll protect Temari no matter what, exclaimed Naruto as he slowly realizes what he said. His tan skin then turns a deep crimson color. I didn't mean it like that, said an embarrassed Naruto. Sure you didn't, said Jiraiya, winking at Naruto, who turns head to the side in embarrassment. But he didn't mean it like that. He didn't like Temari, that he likes his pinknet teammate, not the Sand Kunoichi, but he does have a little crush on Koiki, but his heart belonged to Sakura, and maybe when he comes back he'll take her on a date. Alright, lover boy, let's get back to training, mocked Jiraiya before Naruto could even yell at his sensei. Jiraiya throws a shuriken. A cloud of smoke covers the small weapon. As the smoke vanishes, a large shuriken is thrown at him, making Naruto open his eyes in shock. He leans back a little too far. He then cursed as he lost his footing. With a loud thud, Naruto lands on his ass. He then groans at the soreness he felt. What you doing? I didn't say you can rest, yelled Jiraiya. Screw you, perv, roared Naruto in annoyance. His back and ass hurt, of course. The Toad Sage didn't allow Naruto to simply lay on the floor. He continued their training with him, throwing a kunai at the fallen Uzumaki. For the 4 of the day, Jiraiya had spent the day training Temari and Naruto in taijutsu. They didn't return back to their room until 9. Once they return, an exhausted Temari makes it to the couch and crashes. The only thing coming from the blonde teenager is her soft breathing. As for Naruto, he had crashed to the floor, not even caring about a blanket or pillow. Jiraiya gives him a few love taps. Naruto just growls at Jiraiya, not wanting to deal with the man, but the Toad Sage had other plans. He then drops a book on Naruto's face, who grunts in pain. Naruto lets out a low groan, ignoring the snickering coming from his sensei. He lazily removes the book from his face. As he flips the book to the cover, he stares at the title, Poisons of a Shinobi by Hanzo. For the rest of the night you will be a task with reading the first chapter, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto's blue eyes staring to Jiraiya's with shock and horror. What? You're up, yelped Naruto. He rubs the back of his head as Temari had thrown one of the weights at him. He turns and sees her tired teal yet angry eyes glaring at him. He shivers in fear. Shut up, growled Temari. Yes, ma'am, said Naruto in low tones. Seeing her threat had gotten across with her fellow blonde, she quickly goes back to sleep. Jiraiya smirks at Naruto and walks towards his room, leaving the child to his own devices. Naruto quickly glances at the slumbering Temari. He then released a gulp. Temari is definitely scarier than Sakura-chan. It's best not to make her mad or she'll hit me with that fan, thought Naruto. He then begins opening the book, starts reading. Still fixated on that teammate of yours? You truly are a fool, Naruto, said Kyubi in an insulting tone. Naruto narrowed his eyes, not pleased to be hearing the fox's dark voice. What would you know, you dumb fox, thought Naruto. From the large cage that seems to be filled with nothing but darkness, the red eyes and canine jaws grins within the cage. I know far more than you, boy. My last container was far smarter than you. She had some talent, said Kyubi. Naruto's eyes widened, shocked. WW what? Muttered Naruto. Oops, wasn't supposed to say that, said Kyubi. His grin widened, taking joy at Naruto's confusion. Just because he's in prison doesn't mean he can't have fun. Naruto was lost for words. He always remembers people saying Kyubi had attacked Konoha, but if what the fox is saying true, then someone had to break the seal for Kyubi to be freed. WWH who WW was she? Asked Naruto in a nervous and almost scared tone. Kyubi lets out a few chuckles, sending shivers down his spine. Isn't it an obvious, boy? It's your mother, of course. Ahaha, how sad, she gave her life up, but you don't even know what the bitch looks like or her name, laughed Kyubi. Wait. What's her name? Asked Naruto, but Kyubi never responds. After more attempts which had no results, Naruto looks down his hands in sadness, not even caring, as his eyes cry in pain, frustration, and anger. He was sure Jiraiya knew who his mom was, but he was uncertain if the pervert would tell him. With his emotions at a high level, he stares down at the book. He sighs, knowing he won't be sleeping anytime soon. As he reads the book, he is plagued. What he said he had also kept reading till 2 and finally falls asleep. One would think after a tiring and taxing day they would peaceful dreams, but unfortunately, that's not the case with Naruto, whose dreams were filled with his first encounters with Zabuza, Orochimaru, and Itachi. 2 hours later, both Naruto and Temari are awakened by Jiraiya's loud voice. Temari groans in her sleep, muttering curses and swears at the Kabuki-themed shinobi. Naruto simply lets out a loud groan. Jiraiya whistles at Naruto, noticing he had read 2 chapters. This caused the Sannin to grin. And no time for rest. Time to start today with morning training, yelled Jiraiya as he dragged the 2 half-asleep teens outside. He grins at their tired expression. It had reminded him of himself, when he was a genin back when he and Orochimaru were best friends. He then shakes himself from thinking about the past. There was no time thinking about that after all. He spent too much time thinking the what-ifs. If he truly wanted to honor those who have passed, then he must train the new generation and make sure they don't make the same mistakes. He then turns towards Temari. I hope you're ready for today's training. I'm sure you'll love it, exclaimed Jiraiya. Or hate you, muttered Temari. Jiraiya then throws a scroll at Temari, who catches it. She then gives him a questionable stare. He just smirks at her. She pours chakra into she is left surprised as the scroll contains 2 small black iron fans. Each fan has an image of a golden moon. She then slowly looks up Jiraiya, who has a confident yet cocky grin. A special gift from your council. If you look closer, there's something written, said Jiraiya. She struggles to raise the fans due to their height. As she takes a closer look, she sees something written on the blades is just like the wind. It flows freely like the summer leaf. She smiles at it. Baki-sensei, said Temari in a soft tone. A smile appears on her face. Naruto's cheeks turn a light pink hue due to never hearing the female Suna Kunoichi speaking in a tone like that. Cute, thought Naruto as he stares at her smile. As you can see, each ate about 95 pounds each, said Jiraiya. Naruto turns, looks at Temari. He also notices her arms are trembling. For today's training session you'll be sparing against each other, said Jiraiya. Wait, does that mean I'll be using the Kusarigama? Asked Naruto. A strong force hits him in the back of the head, spending him face first with the ground. Naruto can already feel lump his head. You idiot, that thing is poisonous, screamed Temari, glaring at him. I would never hurt you, Temari-chan, exclaimed Naruto, with his blue eyes staring into her own. She then away from him, hoping he doesn't see her cherry red blush. Tsk, whatever, muttered Temari. Naruto then rubs the back of his head. He then turns towards Jiraiya with a confused expression. Then what am I supposed to do, my kunai? Exclaimed Naruto. Jiraiya simply shook his head negatively and throws him a scroll with the Sarutobi clan symbol. Naruto shot the Sannin with a confused look. It's a gift from Sarutobi-sensei, said Jiraiya, shocking the blonde duo. Naruto pours chakra into the scroll. A Jien sword has summoned. The sheath of the sword is gray-black in color. The sheath itself is made from a tree. The handle is gray-black with having the pattern of an oak tree. The cross-guard is the shape of a curved V, which is gold and was 3 red ruby jewels embedded in it. The pommel is solid gold and takes the shape of a turtle shell. Attached to the pommel is a black iron chain, and the blade is pitch black. The middle of the blade is coated in solid gold. It's called the Sword of Gojian. Sensei was going to give it to you after the Chunin exam, said Jiraiya, shocking Naruto and Temari. The blade itself was crafted with chakra metal and adamantine, while the handle and sheath are made from the Shodame's Mokutan, said Jiraiya. Naruto stares at the sword in awe. For now, you'll be using that sword until you master the Kusarigama, ordered Jiraiya. Naruto simply stares Jiraiya with a blank face. Temari smirks at Naruto, who's flat on his ass with some cut wounds. Temari had her fair cuts on her. I'm impressed, Naruto. You have improved a lot faster than I thought. Maybe there's hope for you after all. Gaki, grins Jiraiya with pride and amusement. He figured the blonde probably got his talent from his mother. Besides being the Jinchuriki of Kitsune no Kyubi and a few ninjutsu masters, she was also a gifted kenjutsu. Naruto grins at the white-haired man. Then hey, screw you, old geezer, exclaimed Naruto, glaring at the sage. Temari sighs that the two are all Konoha ninjas like this, thought Temari as she remembers her interactions with another genin like Shikamaru who became a chunin just like her. But I guess she'd rather deal with the loudmouth idiot, that lazy bastard. Temari then whacks him in the back of the head, but not hard, just enough to make him stop arguing with their sensei. Aren't you a ninja? Asked Temari with a raised eyebrow. He stares at his fellow blonde with confusion. What the hell did she mean? Of course he's a ninja. His first real mission turned C rank to A rank. He survived against Orochimaru, twice met the infamous Itachi and Kisame. Hell, he fought and beat Niji and Gaara, 2 people who are far better than him. But here Temari is asking him that question. Of course I am, yells Naruto. How can this woman say that he's training to bring back Sasuke? Temari's teal eyes glare at him, then act like it. Stop acting, you're a kid, yells a frustrated Temari. She just couldn't believe it. Here she is with Naruto Uzumaki. The boy who beat her brother is being trained by Jiraiya and he's acting like a child. She then roughly grabs onto his headband and roughly shakes him. This headband symbolizes you. Naruto is a soldier of the village. You have a responsibility. You can say how you're going to bring back your traitorous friend all you want. I don't care. I care about the S-rank ninjas after my little brother. In the eyes of your village, you are no longer a child. How do you expect to be the Hokage when you're goofing off? Exclaims Temari, losing her patience with Naruto. She had thought after everything that happened he would learn from it, but no, he's acting like how he did during the beginning of the Chunin exams. Someone like Itachi Uchiha is hunting Gaara and you. They're hunting you. As if you were some animal to be mounted. And Naruto, Itachi is stronger than Orochimaru, growls Temari. She just couldn't take it. She couldn't take how idiotic naive Naruto is. Damn it, how can this kid be so naive? What kind of things are they teaching in Konoha? Thought Temari. She couldn't help but wonder what their academy is doing since they allow Sakura and Ino, 2 fangirls, be kunoichi. Those two are such an embarrassment. The only kunoichi from Konoha that actually cared about their ninja career was Hinata and Tenten. Naruto stares wide-eyed, never being told in such a manner. Sure, others have made it clear how much of an idiot he is. You think I can be the Hokage? Muttered Naruto in a solemn tone. Well, of course I do. I saw how you fought my brother. You changed and you brought my brother back, mutters Temari, shocking Naruto. He had no clue he changed his red-haired friend. He also didn't know what Temari thought of him. Naruto could only count a few people who believe he can be Hokage, but here he has someone as strong as Temari saying she believes him. He doesn't even think his own teammates believe him, but here someone who isn't from his village believes him and is scolding him. The young knucklehead ninja finds himself speechless. He bows his head in shame, catching Temari off guard. I am sorry. Apologize, Naruto. Temari crosses her arms. This isn't the time for a pity party. We're being trained by one of the Sannin, and he's the one who trained the Yondaime. I won't allow these people to hunt Gaara as if he was some wild beast that needed to be locked away, says Temari, gripping her fans tightly. So what are you going to do? Sit around goofing off while these people hunt others like you and my brother? Asked Temari in a serious tone. He shook his head. Negativity, no way, says Naruto. Temari then softly sighs. Then take this seriously. If not for me, then for my brother. You are his best friend after all, says Temari, shocking Naruto. He had no idea what Gaara had thought of him, but deep down he knew she was right. Being a ninja wasn't he thought it would be, and the wave mission was his wake-up call to reality, and the fact he has someone like Itachi after him doesn't sit well for him. He then begins remembering looking at Sasuke's older brother. His eyes held no emotion. It spooked him, especially without how brutal he took Sasuke out. Then there was Kisame. He hates to admit, but he actually had a nightmare about the Shark Man. Naruto then bows his head down. I'm sorry, I'm just scared, said Naruto. She then sighs at this, not sure what to do in this type of situation. She awkwardly pats him on the shoulder, not really sure what to do. After all, her family wasn't known for group hugs, so she just pats him on the shoulder. After all, physical contact was still a foreign concept to the blondes. But as Blue and Teal meet, Naruto, not being one to ever think simple, blurted out the first thing that came to his ramen brain. Beautiful eyes, blurted Naruto. Jiraiya then laughs at the two, who had an equal crimson blush. Naruto not sure what to do. Sure, he always called Sakura cute. He even thinks Koiki is beautiful, but there's something about Temari. She's talented, she's very smart, and she's very mature for her age. There was also this exotic aura about her, maybe because she was from a whole other village and she was the strongest kunoichi in the Chunin exam. So Naruto does what many others have done, avoided contact and stare at their feet while having a mental debate. Temari's cheeks turn red. Stop trying to change the subject. Thank you, says Temari, but she said the last part to herself. Jiraiya then laughs loudly, ruining the moment. After all, seeing their teen drama was funny. Temari's blush and then replaced with annoyance. She swung at her sensei, mailing him in the face. They watch as he bounces off the ground, causing Naruto to have a sweat drop. And you act your age, snarled Temari in annoyance. This pervert was her sensei and somehow trained a Kage. She wondered why all Konoha ninjas live so laid back. Jiraiya dusts himself off and grins. Okay, enough of your lover's spat, joked Jiraiya. The man enjoyed watching the two blondes turn a deep red. He couldn't help but chuckle, just like Kushina and Minato. Thought Jiraiya Naruto might be a hidden gem, but he was definitely his mother's son. His personality was so much like hers it was scary. We are not lovers, yelled the two. Naruto was really just thinking of summoning Gamibuddha just to flatten the smirk off of Jiraiya's old wrinkling face. They both calmed down, seeing the serious expression on his face. Naruto, she's right, this is the real world, but this isn't the time for this. In 2 weeks we'll be going on our first A-rank mission, said Jiraiya, shocking the two. Our mission is to infiltrate one of Orochimaru's labs. This warehouse has many records of various things from his time as a shinobi of the leaf, to a rude agent of Danzo, and to his time with the Akatsuki, says Jiraiya. Just as Naruto was about to ask about Sasuke, Jiraiya held his hand up, stopping him from speaking. No intel says the one at this hideout is a Kekei Genkai woman, named Girin. She's one of his. Stop Jounin, leave her to me. You two will head to the below level where the documents are kept. You two will be facing Jounin and Chunin, you understand? Asked Jiraiya. Temari nods her head. We'll be on our own, says Temari. Yes, this woman was once an ideal body, so he kept her because her usefulness, says Jiraiya. You think she might know where Orochimaru is? Asked Naruto. It's a possibility. Tsunade trusts us to complete this mission. Are you two ready? Asked Jiraiya. They nod their heads. Good. We don't have much time, but with clones anything is possible, says the man. For the next 2 weeks Jiraiya had increased their training. Naruto can now properly use the chain sickle with the help of Temari. She had taught him a few wind jutsu. Jiraiya had also taught him a few toad, earth, and water ninjutsu. The three stood at the secret entrance of the warehouse. You two remember your part, right? Asked Jiraiya. Put this question was more directed at Naruto. Naruto nods his head. Yeah, I remember. We gotta find the documents when you deal with the crystal lady, says Naruto. Jiraiya nods his head with a smile. From here on you two are on your own. Bed careful you two and watch each other's back, said Jiraiya. The two nods their head in agreement. Right, you count on me, I'll protect Temari, says Naruto, not even noticing Temari's rose-red cheeks. Yeah, what Naruto said, we won't fail you Jiraiya-sama, said Temari. The road sage grins at this. He then body flickers away. She then turns to Naruto. You ready? Asked Temari. Naruto's response was a cloud of smoke. Naruto now stood with his Kuzurigama. She smirked at him, at which he flashes her with his fox-like grin. They then enter, and of course with Naruto's luck it is never easy. Standing in front of them are 4 men. Ah shit, groaned Naruto. The 4 men charged at them. Temari unleashes powerful wind blades with her 2 iron fans. Each men are then flung back, hitting the wall. You could even hear the sound of bones breaking as their bodies hit the wall. Naruto released an audible gulp. Man, I do not want to be on the retrieving side of those things, thought Naruto. Sure, Sakura scares him with her short temper, but Temari scares him even more, plus she didn't even need to use her fist, just her fans. Come on, Naruto, we have a mission to complete, says Temari. Naruto dumbly nods head and follows her down a flight of stairs from Jiraiya-sama had said these at least 3 more levels we have to go before we reach our destination, said Temari. Right, and we'll run into more of Orochimaru's henchmen, but I can't help but to wonder if he's here, wondered Naruto. Who? Sasuke? Asked Temari with a raised brow. Her fellow blonde shook his head negatively. No, Kabuto, Orochimaru's right hand, said Naruto. Kabuto? Yumeya and the guy who took part in the war? Asked Temari. She never fearsome to him. The only thing she knew about him was he was a spy for Orochimaru and took part in the war. Yeah, he's strong. I fought him when Ekisenin and I had to bring back Bachan. And he totally kicked my ass. He's as good as a medic as Bachan but as ruthless as that snake bastard. Ekisenin told me he's as strong as Kakashi-sensei, says Naruto. Temari's eyes looked on in shock. Kakashi was Konoha's most talented and skilled shinobi, and for someone like Kabuto to be on even ground as Kakashi was scary. And how did you manage against him? Asked Temari. Sweat drop appeared in the side of his head. I had to let him stab my hand and I used the Rasengan on him, says the blonde Uzumaki in a low tone. Temari stares at him with a blank look. Idiot, muttered Temari, but somehow this doesn't surprise her after all. She watched him fight and she knew he took unnecessary risk just to win a fight. Hopefully you won't have to do that again, says Temari. Yeah, you and me both, says Naruto. Fortunately, now that he managed to use the Rasengan with one hand, so getting stabbed wasn't really necessary. Boy, you aren't alone, says Kyubi. Naruto then comes to stop looking around. Temari then turns to Naruto. What is it? Asked Temari. We aren't alone, says Naruto. The two blondes are then back to back looking at their surroundings. They even look above but didn't see anyone. Where are they? Asked Naruto, but Kyubi didn't respond, causing the blonde to growl in annoyance. Suddenly Naruto's gets punched in the face, making him land on his face. Temari swings her can but hits nothing. She then feels as someone kicked her knees, making her lose her balance. She then feels as someone kick her in the guts, sending her flying. Something then wraps her neck and hurls her at Naruto, who catches her sound cry. Oto no Sakibi! Exclaimed a man. A powerful sound blast knocked the two against the concrete door. The groan in pain really did Konoha, and sooner really send two stupid brats. Mocked the man. He then deactivated his jutsu, showing himself to the two young ninjas. He looked like any regular Oto shinobi except the fingers on his left hand has sound devices, similar to Zaku, and he wields a chain kunai. The man grins darkly at the two. The name's Ryoga. The last thing you stupid brats will ever see. Soul bullets. Tamashi no Dangon. Yells Ryoga. He extends his hand, firing sound bullets from his fingertips. Naruto quickly tackles Temari down, narrowly avoiding the sound bullets. The two look at the walls. Are 5 holes. Both narrowed their eyes at the man, just like that guy back at the Chunin exam, but with his fingers, thought Naruto. He then unleashes a volley of kunai at Ryoga, but the man skillfully blocked each one with his kunai. Naruto quickly goes through a few hand signs. He then claps his hands together. Wind release, aerial wall jutsu, futon, kuchukabe no jutsu, yelled the two blondes. Naruto released a powerful blast of wind from his lungs while she released the same blast from her two fans. Bleeding Ragnarok technique, Ragnarok Shiketsu no Jutsu, says Ryoga. A powerful sound beam, both sound and wind collide, shaking the very foundation of the building. Even the walls themselves begun to crack under pressure. Naruto then throws a flash bomb, blinding him. Naruto then creates 2 clones. Each of them throws a exploding tag. Temari unleashes a gust of wind, increasing the blast even more, burning the man. Ryoga snarls at the two. He then grins at them. He then uses the snake, boar, rat, and tiger seals hiding chameleon technique, Chameleon Okakusa no Jutsu, says Ryoga. He then turns invisible. He then charges at the two. Knocking Temari to the side. He then knees Naruto in the gut, then uppercut him. He then grabs Naruto by his jumpsuit. He then punched him the gut, knocking the wind out of him. This blow had sent the blonde flying. Naruto then screams in pain as the kunai stabs him in the gut. You're done for, brat, says Ryoga. You can even hear the smugness in his voice. He then yanks the kunai back, wrapping his hand around Naruto's throat. Sound technique, Demon Knight, Oto Jutsu, Oni no Yuda, whispered Ryoga. Naruto then released a silent scream as his eardrums are assaulted by a powerful sound blast. His ears and nose begin to bleed. Get your damn hands off him, twin whirlwind, Futego no Senpa, yells an enraged Temari. She unleashes a powerful blast of wind, knocking him away from Naruto. Her teal eyes glare hardly at the invisible man. I don't know where he is, but with this it shouldn't matter. Wind release, Blades of Spirit technique, Futon Seishin no Hajutsu, yells Temari. She unleashes a volley of wind blades. Ryoga tries his best to deflect them, but he isn't able to deflect all of them. He snarls as his cuts appear on him. With him taking that much damage, his chameleon jutsu deactivated. He glared at her, seeing blood dripping from his body. You damn bitch, you'll pay for that, slicing serpent, Hibio, Suresasuru, says Ryoga. He then twirls the blade, slicing the roof. He then grins and attacking her with sound blades. She released a scream in pain as the sound-based blades cut into her. He then blasts her with a sound blast that throws her to the ground. He then grins at the two children. He then walks to the down Temari and glared at her. I really hate kids, says Ryoga. He then picks her up by her. He then wraps his chain kunai around her neck. She punched him in the face, but it doesn't even seem to faze him. You were foolish to think you can beat me. You will die like fools, grinned Ryoga as he tightened the chain. Temari's eyes began to water. Naruto looks up, seeing Ryoga strange. Temari, stop it. Let her go, yells Naruto. Ryoga grins at the down. Naruto, no, I don't think so. I think after I kill the bitch I'll have some fun with her. grins Ryoga darkly with a perverted look in his eyes. Temari looked at him with fear. The man then grabs her by breast roughly, cackling darkly. This angered Naruto even more. A red cloak then begins to cover him. Sensing the foul chakra, he turns and sees Naruto entering his two-failed Kyuubi cloak. Naruto grits his teeth in raw, unadulterated anger. You bastard! Let Temari-chan go! Roared Naruto. He then charges at Ryoga with blinding speed. The man then coughs out blood and drops Temari, who begins to cough. The Odo shinobi looks down, noticing he's been cut. Damn it, poison! Mutters Ryoga. He then falls face down, throwing up blood. The Bijuu cloak vanishes and Naruto falls to his knees and stares at his hands in shock. Oh my god, I killed him, but he was evil and he was gonna Tema! Groaned Naruto as he was tackled by a yellow blur. He soon finds himself smothered by a hugging Temari. She keeps muttering thank you. She then surprised herself and himself by kissing him on his cheek. Both blondes blush crimson red. Realizing what she just did, she jumps away, looking away and failing to hide her deep red blush. Right, thank you again for saving me, Naruto, says a blushing Temari who twirls one of her pigtails. Naruto, who also blushing, rubs the back of his head. It was no problem, Temari-chan, I'll always protect you, says a blushing Naruto. With that being said, Temari's face matches the same color of her brother's hair. Temari could have her heart stopped a full beat. Cough cough, you stupid kids! Groaned Ryoga. He slowly rises to his feet, glaring at the blonde duo. He then digs into his pocket, pulling out with a syringe that contains purple liquid. With this I'll make you and your Tsunahore, smirked Ryoga. He then coughs up blood and grins darkly at the two who glare at him. Kukuka, after I killed you I'll torture that sand whore. Kukuka. Just thinking about is exhilarating. Grins Ryoga in a perverted manner. Just before he injects the syringe into his neck, Naruto's Kusarigama cuts off his hand. While this happened in a split second, but for the Odo shinobi it happened in slow motion. He stares at his now missing hand in shock. Temari throws one of her fans at Ryoga. The fan pierced Ryoga in the throat. The man collapsed to the ground, choking on his own blood. Jiraiya vs. Guren. Guren grins at the Toad Sage as his kunai clashes with her crystal blade. The aged shinobi grits his teeth in annoyance. As the kunai begins to crystallize, he quickly throws the weapon to the side. Orochimaru may be a bastard, but he sure knows how to pick his soldiers. Thought Jiraiya weapon seems useless against her, and some element ninjutsu after all. He just witnessed her turning his mud dragon into a crystallized snake. I have to say I'm impressed. I've seen my share of unique Kekkai Genkai, but I've never seen a crystal user before. You could become a great kunoichi for the village, says Jiraiya with a smirk. And coming from a Sannin, that means a lot, but flattery won't help you, says Guren. She slashed at him. Jiraiya ducks down and open palms her in the stomach. She then hurls crystallized shuriken. Jiraiya takes a sealing paper and watches as the weapons get sealed away. His hair hardened. He then unleashes his needle hair samban at the woman. She quickly summons a crystal shield. She narrowed her eyes as the crystal slowly begins to crack. If earth-released ninjutsu won't work, then maybe this will work, thought Jiraiya. He quickly makes a clone and releases his fire release. Toad oil flame bullet katan, Gameo enden. Guren grits her teeth as more cracks from around the shield. She then goes through the hand signs of bird, ox, horse, snake, boar, and his crystal release. Crushing Jade Hunter, Shoten. Hijri Hanta o Funsai, says Guren. A crystallized wolf merges from the shield and meets his flame jutsu head on. A huge explosion occurs, blocking their vision, causes Guren to narrow her eyes. Jiraiya grins at this summoning. Toad mouth bind Kuchios, Gamaguchi Shirbari. It's over now, there's no escape, says Jiraiya. The stomach then begins to bind the woman. No matter how much she struggles, she then uses her crystal release. It soon begins crystallize the inside of the road, but Jiraiya charges at her with a Rasengan, ramming it into her, but instead of blowing her back, she then shatters in jade crystals. A clone, mutters Jiraiya. He watches as the crystal clone begins to laugh in a mocking manner. Sorry to disappoint you, Sannin, but I have no interest in getting captured, but don't worry, I'm sure we'll meet again someday, says the clone. She then shatters into pieces. Jiraiya glares at the shattered crystals. Jiraiya growls in frustration. Ugh, well, that's not a good sign, and Hanchan won't likes. Hopefully the brats have better luck than I do, says Jiraiya as he rubs the back of his head with a sigh. Sometime later, Jiraiya meets up with his students, finds himself surprised not just because they found the document, but the shape his students are in. I take it you hit a few bumps too? Asked the aged man. The two there had agreement. Yeah, that's the understatement of the year, thought Temari. She turns to Naruto, who dogs into his jumpsuit, taking out a syringe. Their sensei raised an eyebrow at this. A jounin we fought was about to inject himself before Temari-chan and I took the bastard out, says Naruto with a wide grin on his face. The fan user's cheeks becomes pink thanks to Naruto's praise. Jiraiya grins at this and have his students with a smug smirk. He snickers at the two. Is it Temari-chan now, eh? You sure move fast, brat, giggled Jiraiya in a perverted manner. He could already smell inspiration for his novel. Whatever thoughts for his smut novel were banished as Jiraiya is hit by Temari's and Naruto's weapon. Get your head of the gutter / quit being a perv, yelled the two, glaring at him, daring the seasoned ninja to continue with his perverted ways. Especially after dealing with Ryoga, either of the two were in no mood to deal with their sensei's usual perverted ways. Anyways, when Naruto used his Kusarigama and the enemy went down, we thought we was down, but he had another surprise. But he got full of himself, allowing Naruto to cut his hand off and myself to finish the job, but he believed whatever was in it will give him a complete edge over us, says Temari. It didn't take a genius to realize something else had happened. Jiraiya knew this wasn't the place, not time to ask. But it seemed whatever they want to not only force Naruto to take his first kill after all the poison covering the Kusarigama is highly poisonous, but it seemed whatever the two went through had also brought them closer together. While teasing the two does sound like fun, they were still on a mission. Oh, well, I'll just find out what happened later, thought Jiraiya. He then summons a small toad and husbands him the documents, and the syringe. Give these to Haim-chan, ordered the Sannin. The small toad nods his head and shouts a curious gaze at the syringe. The kids retrieved it from the enemy, might be some kind of drug, says Jiraiya. When dealing with Orochimaru you never what you're truly dealing with. Sure thing Jiraiya, says the small toad. It soon vanished in a puff of smoke. Now let's get you two matched up. After all, not everyone can heal fast, said Jiraiya, but this was more directed to Naruto. 2 days later Temari lowers her fans as Naruto lower his on the desert. Kunoichi turns to Jiraiya, who's writing in a small notebook but doesn't like the one he uses for his Ika series. Have you got a message from my village? Asked Temari. From those 2 days they had already got pay and a congratulations from Konoha, but she hasn't heard back from her home. Not yet, but I should be expecting a message from them any day now, says Jiraiya. He watches as she smiles at this, no doubt missing her brothers. Sure, her Kankuro weren't close to Gaara because of his former psychotic persona, but even back then, she loves her brother. Gedeki Sennin, remember when you and Toad Boss you used that big fire jutsu? Asked Naruto. Jiraiya knew which jutsu he was talking about. I was thinking of doing that, but with a poison fog, says Naruto. Jiraiya grins at this while Temari looks on impressed. That's not a bad idea, kid. I was waiting till much later, but no time like the present, says his. He then turns to the female blonde. And you'll also be doing cooperation ninjutsu. We can work with both Toads and Weasel, says Jiraiya, causing both to smile. But first I watch to teach you a seal, says Jiraiya. Really, what kind of seal? Asked Naruto. The fire sealing method, Fukahoin. It's a seal that allows you to deal away any fire ninjutsu, even Itachi's Murderesu, said Jiraiya. A Murderesu? What's that? Asked Naruto. It's the next step of the Manjiki Sharingan. The only way to achieve it is to kill yourself, best friend, or a family member dying, says Jiraiya. Temari looks on in disgust while Naruto doesn't look too happy either. In exchange of such committed also said person eyes to evolve every Uchiha who'd unlocked their own unique ability. Sure, Sui Itachi's best friend can use Kodo Amatsukami as a dojutsu that casts a powerful yet subtle mind-controlling genjutsu on the target. The ninjutsu is so powerful you wouldn't even know it or aware you are being controlled. Would you believe each action you took was of your own choosing, says Jiraiya. It was safe to say either then wanted to go up against someone like Sure Sui Itachi's Manjikyu have gave him the Tsukuyumi. It traps them in an illusion of his design. Through his unprecedented ability to alter targets' perception of time, he uses Tsukuyumi to subject victims to days' worth of torture in a matter of seconds, and it gave him the Murderesu, a technique that allows him to command black flames. Once created, the flames will not stop burning until their target is completely incinerated. The flames cannot be extinguished with water, the passage of time, or any other normal methods. Only the user can put the flames out, explained Jiraiya. Which is why it's important you to learn the Fukahoin. When we meet up with Itachi and his blue friend you'll have a way to deal with the Murderesu. Now watch carefully, I'm going to show you the hand signs, says Jiraiya. He uses the hand signs of rat, bird, technique-specific seal, tiger. He then begins to show them the sealing formula. He watches as both write the sealing formula and activate the scroll. He then fires a lower-level fire jutsu and watches as both scrolls seal away the small flames. Naruto with a huge grin jumps around in excitement, while Temari smiles to herself at learning something new. Now I'll be back. I need to head back to Mount Maiboku to see if they have any toads that specialize in poison. Use this time to relax and take a break. You two need it, says Jiraiya. He then reverse summoned himself, heading back to the home of the toads. Temari turns and sees Naruto reading the Fuinjutsu book and chuckles at this, even giving time to relax. The blonde still trying to improve himself. Naruto, I know we never talked about it, but seeing as we're alone I think it's important we have to discuss something, says Temari. Naruto quickly becomes stiff and his went wide. Crap. That's right in front of her, thought a frantic Naruto. He then blushes, remembering the hug and kiss. It was the rare for him getting a hug from a girl and kiss. Well, he got a kiss from the Snow Demio Koiki, but he was unconscious, and the only type of affection he received from a girl his age is Sakura's fist. It also helped that Temari was far more cute than Sakura. Seeing he was still paying attention to her, she continues on. So that red chakra was Kyuubi's, right? Asked Temari. He just nods his head. Can you control it? Asked Temari. I've only went up to 2 tails so far. I'm still in control, says Naruto. She smiles at this. Well, I'm happy you'd use it, says the female blonde. Really you are? Asked a shocked Naruto. She nods her head and smiles at the Uzumaki and places his hand on her shoulder. Well, yeah, if you hadn't I'd rather not think about. I'm not used to saying this, but thank you Naruto-kun, says a blushing Temari. Naruto cheeks become a deep scarlet. Cute, blurted Naruto. Temari blushes. She then gains a nervous smile and mutters a thank you. I'm just happy you're safe, Temari-chan. I won't let anything to my precious people, says Naruto. She smiles even brighter at this. Why you think I'm precious? Asked Temari. He flashed her one of his famous grins. Sure, of course. I wouldn't ask for another partner. I mean, you're so cool, amazing, and smart. You're defiantly the coolest girl I've met. You're even more cuter than Sakura and Ino, exclaimed Naruto. Feeling the effect of the infamous Uzumaki grin made the Sand Kunoichi heart skip a few beats. Sure, many people have commented her skills, but no boy had ever commented on her looks. She leans in and kissed his whiskered cheek. That's for saving myself and for saving my brother, just so you know that Sakura girl is an idiot for chasing Sasuke, says Temari, leaving Naruto frozen, and no doubt his own heartbeat skip a few beats. He even forgot to breath for a few seconds. The two smile at each other. The two quickly jump back as Jiraiya had returned with another toad. He looks at the two, noticing Naruto is a blushing mess while Temari tries to put on a strong face. These brats are gold. Ahaha, the next Ika series will write itself thanks to these two brats, thought Jiraiya. This is Gamikaso, the son of Fukasaku and Shima. You meet him, his parents, later. He specializes in poison. His poison ninjutsu is considered the best, says Naruto. Gamikaso, his size is comparable to that of a human's, though he is noted to being slightly bigger than the average male. His skin color is mahogany brown, an effect transcribed through the combination of his mother's purple skin color and his father's green skin color respectively. Unlike Fukasaku, however, he does not possess any noticeable facial hair. His eyes also bear striking resemblance to his father's, bright yellow in color with a noticeable black rectangular shape swimming in the center, a trait that displays his mastery over the element of senjutsu. He also coats his lips in a thick coating of lipstick, utilizing the dark purple shade of his mother Shima. He wears an elongated black cloaks that extend past the wearer's own knees. Beneath the dark cloak lies Gamikaso's true attire, comprised of a black kimono and complete with a pair of noble shinobi sandals. A white obi sash is tied around his waist, holding together his set of stone katana. The large road bows at Naruto. It is an honor to meet you, Naruto-san, says Gamikaso. Naruto then gets the finally this toad was a big deal and gives the large road a bow to nice to meet you, says Naruto. After all, it probably wouldn't do him any good pissing this toad off. He has a feeling this toad is far more stronger Gamabunta. He also didn't want to test Gamikaso's temper, especially if it was anything like Gamabunta's temper. Gamikaso smirks at Jiraiya. Well, the boy has more respect than you, Jiraiya, and he seems far more promising. Mock the human size, causing Jiraiya to pour at the son of the toad sage. This causes Naruto to snicker at Jiraiya. The large toad then turns to Naruto and a member of the Uzumaki clan. You know how to pick your students, exclaimed the smirking toad. You know about the Uzumaki clan, exclaimed the surprised Naruto. Ever since he left Konoha he still hasn't found any scrolls of the Uzumaki, which greatly disappointed. Gamikaso chuckles at Naruto, causing Naruto's own temper to flare up. Everyone knows who the Uzumaki clan. They, along with the Senju and Uchiha clans, were the most strongest clan in the world, exclaims Gamikaso. Naruto quickly glares at Jiraiya, who quickly looked the other way, whistling. No reason to be angry at Jiraiya. It was the Hokage's orders. Many people would kill and kidnap to get their hands on a Uzumaki. I have an idea. If you impress me, I'll tell you what I know and I'll teach you a jutsu. Deal? Asked Gamikaso. He knew it was against the Hokage's border, but he didn't really care. Naruto looked at Gamikaso in confusion before grinning to himself. Whatever it is, I'm ready, says Naruto, punching his palm. I hope so. If you can force me to use one ninjutsu, I'll hold up on my promise, says Gamikaso, pulling out both of his stone swords. Now let's see what you got, son of Minato, thought the sage toad. Naruto grins widely at the toad. He charges at Gamikaso with his Kuzurigama. Gamikaso swipes Naruto, who ducks low. He then throws a smoke bomb his face. Naruto slams an ad kick on him, but Gamikaso uses the flat side of his sword to push him back. The blonde teen then makes a dozen clones, but this didn't away him. To Naruto's surprise, Gamikaso destroys each of the clones with his large swords in a matter of seconds, but with destroying each clone caused a large smoke screen. As it clears up, Naruto comes crashing down with a Rasengan. Gamikaso uses his tongue to wrap itself around Naruto's waist and tosses him to the side. You'll have to do better than that, exclaimed Gamikaso. He then appears in front of Naruto and elbows him in his head, sending him to the ground. Naruto quickly jumps back, nearly avoiding being crushed, but Gamikaso picks Naruto up by the foot with his tongue and roses him to the side. The toad charges Naruto, hitting him in the gut with his foot, causing Naruto gasping for air. Naruto grits his teeth in pain and unleashes a volley of wind blades. Gamikaso used the blunt side to take the damage. The large road appears in front of him and slams the sword down. Naruto quickly substitutes himself with a piece of free bark. Gamikaso looks everywhere with a grin. Cheeky brat, exclaimed Gamikaso. He punches his hand through the ground, removing Naruto from the ground. The blonde child then grins, confusing him. He then notices a paper bomb attached to him. He exploded. Gamikaso eyes widened as he feels 10 shadows above him. He looks up, seeing down clones, each with their own Rasengan. Gamikaso then throws his stone sword, destroying each clone. He then uses his tongue to literally gut punch Naruto, sending him falling to the ground, grinning at the groaning Naruto, who lost his breath. Yo, Naruto, you dead? Asked Gamikaso. Not dead, just need to get up, groaned Naruto. Gamikaso picks his sword up and stands into the group and sends rocks at him. Well, get up faster, says Gamikaso. He then hits more rocks, sending them at him. Naruto then clasps his hands together. Wind release, aerial wall technique, futon, Kuchikabe no jutsu, exclaims Naruto. The wind blast destroy the rocks. Gamikaso then uses his sword to block the attack, pushes him back. Gamikaso jumps high in the air. He then wraps his tongue around Naruto, but the blonde Uzumaki swings his sickle and wraps the chain around his left arm and face. Gamikaso then uses his right hand to attack him, but a clone rises from the ground, wrapping a chain around his forearm. The Naruto in front of him then uses the chain to trap his arm, pulling him tightly. The two clones tug a few more times, bringing him to the ground. A few other Narutos rise from the ground, pinning his other limbs with the chain sickle. 5 Naruto then charged at him with a Rasengan. Others came at him with their Kusarigama and channels wind nature through the blade, while 2 other clones release a volley of wind slashes. Gamikaso puffs out his cheeks and channels water nature through himself. Water release. Gunshot, Suetun, Teppadama, exclaimed Gamikaso, firing a giant water projectile that rivals the size of Gamabunta's own Teppadama. The real Naruto and his clones are then sent flying, sending the poor boy to the tree. I guess you brat. Gamabunta did say you have lazy luck, says Gamikaso. Jiraiya laughs loudly. You don't know the half of it. But never against the brat, says Jiraiya. He's seen Naruto go through and beating the odds. He also looks Naruto with pride. Before coming on the training trip he would just send as many clones as possible, and now he's actually has them coordinated. Naruto grins on pain as the very ground felt like it was ringing. He then looks and sees a smirking Gamikaso. Told you I'll veto it. Naruto Uzumaki never give data bayo. Grins Naruto. If you have that much energy then you can use it to train. And I did promise to tell you about the Uzumaki clan. Just like the Uchiha clan has many temples, so does the Uzumaki clan, came containing ancient scrolls and sacred artifacts. Both Ashina and Mito were the strongest of the clan. Ashina was a master swordsman, Funijutsu master, and his ninjutsu was powerful and a master in water release, and Mito was the Hokage's wife and fought with him against Madara. Her skill in Fuinjutsu is so powerful she'd seal the 9 tails in herself. She was skilled in medical ninjutsu, she had chakra chains which can even contain a bijou, and she talented in both fire and water release. Says Gamikaso. Naruto smiles at this. With Jiraiya training him in Fuinjutsu he was already on his way, becoming close to his fallen clan, but he another goal to retrieve any Uzumaki artifacts he finds. Now, that's out of the way, let's get to training. We'll be creating a water ninjutsu and some poison ninjutsu. I'll be teaching you water release, high-pressured impact, Suetun, Kotsu. This technique allows the user to create a spiral of water on both hands of the user, and fires it with great speed, dealing a great amount of damage to the enemy. And poison mist, Dokujiri. This allows you to create a poisonous mist, but together it makes water release, poison water bomb, Suetun, Dokuden, said Gamikaso. Naruto is then literally bouncing on his feet. While Gamikaso was busy with training Naruto, Jiraiya and Kamatari, the two decided Temari should try learning at least one defensive ninjutsu. Jiraiya advises she learns a Soton, and the summoner agreed. After all, she was the daughter of Raza, so the chances of her having his affinity over earth and water release was pretty high. Jiraiya decided to teach her earth release, Dust Storm, Doton, Sajinarashi, which requires the use of the hand signs of monkey, ram, snake. Hands clapped together. This ability allowed the user to slams their hands on the ground, generating a large amount of soil, which is launched and manipulated towards the opponent as a fast wave with crushing force. While Kamatari plans to teach her the violent whirlwind, Risenpu, the user produces a powerful stream of wind from their mouth. Temari pants heavily as she sends a small layer of soil. She rolled the sweat from her forehead. While she was getting tired of practicing the Doton ninjutsu, this is something to help her. In Naruto, she then blushes, remembering the kiss she gave him. Maybe it was the best of the moment, but she did meant what she said about Sakura. Sure, Sasuke was cute, but he was traitor and had caused his classmates to be put in the hospital. Hell, they were lucky to be alive. Except for Shikamaru, all head has a broken finger, while the others were much different. She remembers Gaara telling her about Kimimara, and was surprised there was yet another person capable of challenging her brother, but it seems like ever since Rock Lee had been her brothers there has been others to hurt him, like Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto Uzumaki, and the Bone User. While Naruto hasn't the silent cool type like Sasuke or was some genius like Shikamaru, but he was loyal and someone who has a strong drive, and she likes his eyes and whiskers. He definitely wasn't the smartest, but she's glad to have him by her side, and at least he isn't lazy or arrogant, but you can trust him to always be there when you need him. She can't say she could see Shikamaru or any of the other guys to go as far as Naruto have gone, plus Shikamaru seems lazy to put in the extra work, but the blonde Jinchuriki was cute in his own way. It did make her heart flutter when he said she was precious to him. She honestly felt like Sakura was a fool for liking Sasuke. Sure, he was cute, but that didn't make up for arrogance, or his superior complex, which is something she couldn't stand, and he was traitor. She really hopes she'll wake up to realize Sasuke isn't the type to care for others. Hell, if he was from Sunagakure they'd kill. Her eyes glances over to Naruto, watching him get propelled back. I really hope he realizes Sasuke isn't worth it. But if Gaara was in Sasuke's place I would do anything to bring him back. The other differences of Gaara had became rogue was that he's my brother, thought Temari. She really hopes Gaara is taking care of himself. Thinking about her brothers had only driven more. I'm the daughter of Kage, so giving up isn't an option, thought Temari. She rises to her feet and goes through the various hand signs and performs the earth ninjutsu. Once again the soil she was able to generate was for bigger than before, causing her to grin at herself. Jiraiya grins to himself. He had to admit she potential. Hell, he would say she has enough potential to be one of the strongest kunoichi in her village. But training him and Temari had reminded his time training Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan. This also caused him to be sad. Ever since heard the rebels had died, Jiraiya always blamed himself for death of his students. He always wished he stayed a longer or at least brought the children back to the village. This time I'll make sure both of them reach their goal. I won't them fail like I did with the AIM kids and Minato, thought Jiraiya. Plus he was sure if anything happened to any of the kids Tsunade and Gaara would not only kill him but take turns. Plus he knew Minato and Kushina would kill him in the afterlife. Jiraiya grins widely as he turns to Naruto, who had successfully mastered the water ninjutsu. He watches with pride as two large boulders have smashed through them, reducing to small pebbles. He then felt sorry for the poor rocks. Gamico smirks at the boy. Congratulations kid, you mastered the water release, high-pressured impact, Suetun, Kotsu. Now on to the next ninjutsu is Poison Mist, Dokujiri, says Gamico. He then shows Naruto the hand signs for snake, boar, ram, and horse. Gamico puffs out his cheeks and launches a purple mist of poison. After a few tries with clones he had finally learned, but of course this had left him exhausted. Gamico decided to allow the boy to rest. Naruto turns to look at Temari, and is amazed that she too bad learned the earth ninjutsu. She too seemed to be resting, no doubt exhausted from learning an affinity she wasn't too familiar, plus not everyone is a stamina monster like him. Ever since the one-sided fight with Tenten he was amazed, plus at time he thought she was pretty. He still thinks she is now, and he did like her eyes. It kinda reminded him of the ocean. Is that your girlfriend? Asked Gamico, causing to jump with shock. Naruto's face becomes a deep shade of red. She isn't my girlfriend, exclaimed Naruto. Really could have fooled me. That's a pity, you two look good together, says Gamico. BB, but I don't like Temari-chan, I like Sakura-chan, says Naruto, who's still red as a tomato. He then runs the cheek where Temari kiss. I don't like Temari-chan, she's just a friend, thought Naruto. Kyubi scoffed at Naruto, rolling his eyes at his jailer. If she's only a friend, then why are you blushing? Teased Kyubi. He then decides to take nap. The giant fox does have a valid point. Temari had treated 100 times better than his pink-haired teammate, and she never hit him, unless he deserved it, plus he was scared what Gaara and Kankuro might do. Naruto then begins telling Gamico about his crush on Sakura, and Gamico looks at Naruto like he's the planet's biggest idiot. I think you're an idiot, exclaimed Gamico. He had said this Temari girl was far better than his teammate. Hey, exclaimed Naruto, I also think you're a glutton for punishment. I say you should ask her out. You are a ninja after all. You have no idea what might be your last mission. The last thing you want is regret, said Gamico. But we're from two different villages, said Naruto. Not right now, you aren't. Right now you are on a training trip with one of the strongest Sannin. Plus who cares if you are from two different villages, exclaimed Gamico, causing Naruto to smile. He was right though, who cares if they were from two different villages? He just didn't want it to feel awkward if she said no, plus she was so cool and smart, and he was just an idiot. His eyes then turned back to Temari, who turned to look at him. She simply smiles and waves at the blonde Uzumaki to grin back at her, who blushes. He in return, seeing her blush. Maybe he did have a thing for the fan user, or maybe he was just an idiot. He honestly had no idea what was going on in his head. Maybe the fight the two of them had was still fresh in his mind, or maybe everything is just moving far too fast for him. Ever since the passing of Sandaime Hokage, it felt like his life has just been spinning out of control. Okay, Naruto, let's begin with the collaboration technique, advises Gamico. Naruto nods his head with a grin. He rises to his feet with excitement. Right, let's do this. Water release, high-pressured impact, Suetun, Kotsu, exclaimed Naruto, creating a spiral of water on both hands. Gamico puffed out his cheeks and expelling a poison most from his lungs. Water release, poison water bomb, Suetun, Dokuden, roared Naruto. The high-pressure poisoned water hit a tree. It not only destroyed the tree but had also begun to melt the tree. Naruto grins widely at this and pumps his fist high in the air. They then turn towards Temari and Kamatari, channel wind affinity through their lungs. Violent whirlwind, Risenpa, says Temari. The two create a powerful stream of wind that literally knocks over numerous amounts of trees. Naruto looks on with a wide expression. I need to remember not to piss her off, thought Naruto. He honestly thought she might actually kill him if he did something increasingly stupid. Doctor help him if he even decided to do something perverted. There was no doubt in his mind that Temari scares him more than Sakura ever did. Hey Naruto, you want to learn some Fuinjutsu, right? Asked the sage toad. Naruto dumbly nods his head. This causes Gamico to smirk. Good. There's two other jutsu I want to teach you: sealing technique, Devouring Void, Fuinjutsu, Muchu Enai Boido, and Barrier of Decapitation, Awawoka no Jamin. The Muchu Enai Boido concentrates the user's chakra into a circular ring and forms the dragon hand seal at its center. You then raises the ring into the air above your head and releases the hand seal. A dark vortex is then created which acts as a void and sucks the targets into the center of the vortex. Everything that gets sucked into the vortex gets crushed by tremendous forces and shoots out from the other side, said Gamico, shocking Naruto. This technique was also an A-rank technique. As for the barrier of decapitation, Awawoka no Jamin, it uses the hand seals of hare, horse, and boar. The technique is very simple but efficient. You basically a barrier that is created around the head of the opponent, that then cuts their head clean off. Says Gamico. The road decided to teach Naruto the Awawoka no Jamin since it was much easier to learn. Gamico created several earth statues to practice on. Naruto uses the necessary hand seals. It only really took 3 tries. Gamico wasn't quite surprised. It only took the boy 3 attempts. She to both parents being Fuinjutsu master, so it only made sense Fuinjutsu would come easier for him. Naruto grins widely as he used the jutsu. He then gains a sweat drop at the destroyed statues. He then uses the seals once again, and he watches a dark blue barrier appears around the statue's head. The statue's head is then cut clean off. Hell yeah. I'm on my way to becoming a seal master. I'm catching up to you, Sasuke. Databeo, Yells Naruto, causing Gamico to snicker at the hyper-not while the others just shook their head at the excited boy. Now the next one will be a little tricky. It is an A-rank jutsu after all. Make about 40 clones and split them into a group of 10. Ordered Gamico. Naruto nods his head, creating a large group of. He then split them into various of groups. Each of them concentrate their chakra into a circular ring, and uses the dragon hand seal at the center. Naruto and his clones raise the ring above their heads and releases the hand seal. Some of the clones were able to get the ring above their heads while others weren't. These clones were quickly replaced. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he struggles to have the circle stay above him before it vanishes. For each time he fails, he quickly tries again from scratch. He then tries to focus more chakra in his hand. He grins as he's able to get it above his head without vanishing. A dark vortex then slowly appears. He grins, but with him losing concentration it vanishes, causing the Kyuubi Jinchuriki be grown in frustration. Naruto is then forced to create the same amount of clones since the ones before were destroyed. He then repeated the process again. Okay, so far so good, mumbles Naruto. He watches with cautiously as a dark vortex begins to form. While some others had vanished since they couldn't stabilize the vortex, others were able to get it to stay. Naruto grins vigorously as the vortex is fully formed. Naruto and his clones test the vortex they created by throwing rocks, sticks, and anything they can find. They watch as the items that they had thrown were crushed with an insane amount of force, and it shot out of the other side. Each of the clones vanished. Naruto raised his fist high in the air with pride. His celebration is then put on hold as he collapsed on the ground. Gamico then turns to Jiraiya, who's walking over carrying an equaling exhausted Temari. You got some promising kids, Jiraiya, said Gamico. Jiraiya grins at Gamico. Yeah, don't I? Says Jiraiya. He then smiles warmly at the sleeping Jiraiya. I think the Naruto might be able to do it. That's Jiraiya watching his godson sleep. Learn Sage Mode? The very thing you weren't able to master? Asked Gamico. Unlike Minato, who was actually able to learn Sage Mode, Jiraiya wasn't. He needed the help from his parents to use it, but even then Jiraiya didn't really use it. Mostly because he hasn't fought anyone to force him to use it, and the man didn't like how it made him unappealing to women. That and maybe he can do what Minato and I couldn't, says Jiraiya. Oh, you mean to achieve peace, right? Asked Gamico. He knew achieving peace was Jiraiya's dream. Even before signing the Toad contract, peace had always been his dream. Sure, threat to achieve peace had changed from the years, but the goal had always been the same: to live in a world that is no longer plagued by war and hatred, a world where people understand each other. While he didn't care for his perverted side, he still respected the man. Jiraiya nods his head. Yeah, I believe he could do it. You know, every time I look at him I can't help but to see his father, Yuhiko, and Nagato. He reminds me so much of them, it's almost scary, said Jiraiya with a small chuckle. There had been a few times where he almost called him Yuhiko, but to be fair, he just looked like Yuhiko. Gamico then gains a serious look on his face. So, when you gonna tell him? You know, the longer you wait he's just going to be angry with you, says Gamico. Yeah, I know, I'll tell him when he wakes up. I've waited too long, I failed to look after him, but I won't fail this time, says Jiraiya looking at the sleeping child. Naruto is then replaced with a sleeping Minato. He really is Minato's kid. Minato would also pass out from training all day, thought Jiraiya. Even back when he taught his team, Minato was always a hard worker, always trying to improve himself. Gamico nods head at Jiraiya. Yeah, no, I've always liked your first book, The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi, better than that smut carp you write. Maybe you should start writing it again. The kid might start to respect more if you write something better. Call me if shit hits the fan, or if you need me to train Naruto. I can see why Gamabunta and Gamakichi like him so much, says Gamico with a puff of smoke. He returned back to Mount Maiboku. Jiraiya just shook his head with a smile. While he had thought about training Naruto in sage art, he wanted to wait a little, while right now felt too soon. Maybe after they return to Konoha he'll teach him. Right now he wants to teach Naruto the Hiraishin no Jutsu first before sage art. While he couldn't make heads or tails of the technique, he knew Naruto could master it. Jiraiya then picks up Naruto and drops him on his shoulder. The white-haired Sannin then grins mischievous. Naruto snuggles into his pillow. He can't remember the last time he had such a great sleep. Even his bed back home wasn't this comfortable. Even his pillow wasn't this comfortable. The same could be said for the sleeping bag he slept. Actually, even the pillow he had wasn't this warm. This then raised answers. 1. When the hell was a pillow warm? And 2. Last time he checked, pillows sure as hell didn't move. Temari had also, and the same realization. Blue and Teal stare in shock. Both teens turned bright red. And then Naruto, what the hell are you doing in my bed? Exclaimed the blushing fan user. I don't KN no. Yells Naruto. The last thing he could remembered was successfully learning sealing technique, devouring void, Fuinjutsu, Muchu and Iboido, and then everything became black. Their blush becomes brighter as they realize they are holding each other quite intimately. The two quickly jump away from each other. Naruto then hears an all too familiar sound of giggling and pencil the two and finds Jiraiya giggling away and writing in his book. Damn you, Erosenin, yelled Naruto. He then throws various of scrolls and books at his sensei. Jiraiya easily avoids them until Naruto throws one Temari's fans at his head, causing him to call back in pain. Repent, pervert, yelled Temari, slamming her giant fan into him, causing him to plummet to the ground, and no doubt the blow would impress Tsunade. Temari crosses her arms, turning away from him. Stupid pervert, muttered Temari. She then blushes at how warm she felt being held by Naruto. She turns to look at him and notices he's also blushing. No doubt the boy then realized the pillow he was actually laying on was her chest. She then turns to glare at him. Pointing her fan at him, the blush vanished, is then replaced with fear. You better not follow in his footsteps, said Temari. The tone promised pain. Naruto shook his negatively. I'd never peep on you like Ero-senin, Temari-chan. I'm not like him and Kakashi-sensei, said Naruto. She lowered her weapon and satisfied with the answer. Naruto might not be the smartest person in the Fire Country, but he wasn't dumb enough to peek on Temari, and he was afraid what her brothers would to him if they found out. Temari-chan definitely scarier than Sakura, thought Temari. She didn't even need to yell at him. Just a stern look from the kunoichi scares him more than an angry Sakura or Ino. Temari then notices Naruto has been staring at her for some time. She raised an eyebrow at her fellow. What you looking at? Asked Temari. She had to admit the way he was looking at her felt different than home. Back at Sunagakure, people would always looks at her with either fear of respect. They respected her for her skills as a kunoichi, but also fear her for being Gaara's sister and being the daughter of the Yondaime Kazekage, so making friends seemed more like pipe dream. But with how Naruto is staring, it wasn't the stares she got from the people home, it almost seemed like admiration. Naruto's face then becomes so red you could literally cook an egg in his head. I like yo, why yo your eyes, stuttered a shy Naruto. Temari blushes, running her hand through one of her pigtails. WH, what about my eyes? Stuttered Temari. Naruto had once again took her out of her comfort zone and made her felt young. The last time someone had complimented was her mother and uncle. Naruto looks down at his feet. He then gains the courage to look in her in the eyes, even though his legs are shaking with nervousness. See, they remind me of the sea. They're vast and beautiful, just like the open Sean, exclaimed Naruto. Temari stares in shock. She wondered, does he even know what he actually said? Titi, thank you, and then Naruto-kun, mumbles Temari in a low tone. Jiraiya giggles at the two, completely ruining the moment. He then gains a serious look on his face. He looked at Temari, then back at Naruto. Oh, well, she's part of the team and she seems a good fit for Naruto, thought Jiraiya. He then takes a deep breath. Naruto, there's something I need to tell you, says a serious Jiraiya. Both teens sensed the seriousness in his voice and knew it wasn't the perverted old man who enjoyed peeping and a good whorehouse. No, in front of them was Jiraiya of the Sannin. Jiraiya Tensiga into his robes, taking out a picture and a book. The two stare at the photo, noticing Jiraiya as younger in the photo, but he was with 3 children. The blonde was obviously Minato Namikaze, while the other members looked like they could be an Akimichi and possibly an Uchiha. They then turned towards the book and was surprised it wasn't his Ika book. That book is called The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi. It was the very first book I ever wrote. It didn't sell too well because of the time period at the time, but your father loved it so much he named you after the main character, said Jiraiya, shocking Naruto. Both blonde teens then looks at the photo in shock. She stares at Naruto with shock and disbelief, while Naruto had tears running down his face. He also made me your godfather. Of course I didn't do such a good job. Honestly, I have no excuse at how poorly I am as a godfather. The only thing I can blame is himself and cowardly, says Jiraiya with a saddened look. He then digs in his robe again, taking out another picture. It was an image of a teenaged Minato and Kushina. Even if Sarutobi-sensei had forbid me from taking me with you, I still should have. I failed your father, mother, and you, Naruto. I'm sure you finally figured out why you were chosen and probably why Kakashi and myself trained you. You aren't just a member of the Uzumaki clan but also the son of the Minato Namikaze. You must be Disuf, exclaimed Jiraiya as an orange missile had crashed into him. Naruto then cries into Jiraiya's chest, bringing a smile to himself. I am not alone? Mumbled Naruto. Jiraiya pats the boy in the back. Jiraiya wipes away a soul tear. The Toad Sannin shook his head negatively. You were never alone, kid. I've always been watching you, said Jiraiya. He knew it was against the law to tell Naruto, but he didn't care, and he was sure Tsunade didn't care. He always thought hiding so much from Naruto was a horrible idea. While to be fair, there was a lot of things he didn't agree with his sensei, like allowing Danzo to live. For one thing, he then turned towards Temari, who's also smiling, no doubt knowing the pain of loneliness. While she wasn't a Jinchuriki herself, she was a sister to one and daughter of a very strict and militarized father. Jiraiya then extends out his arm. Temari just shrugged her shoulders with a smile and joining in on the big. She smiles at how warm Naruto is, and if she had to be honest, she wondered, is this how it feels to be hugged by a father? Her own father wasn't known to be very fatherly. Even when it came to them, he was always very militarized, thinking how to strengthen the village, but this felt nice. You better watch where you're touching, joked Temari. Jiraiya laughs at that. Maybe in a few ugh, grunted Jiraiya as Naruto punched him in the ribs. Okay, I deserve that, muttered Jiraiya. He then groans in pain again as Temari's fist is then buried in his gut, causing him to groan. Yup, you definitely have Raza's temper, and Naruto definitely has his mother's temper. The three of them separate each other. Temari then picks up the photo of his photos. She then smiles. She's beautiful, says Temari, showing Naruto the photo. He smiles widely at the picture of his mother. She was indeed beautiful. He can see why his father fell in love with her. He just wishes he actually got to meet her. Naruto then turns to Jiraiya. Everyone back home knows, don't they? Asked Naruto. The ones who really knew them, yes, but for everyone else, no. The only ones who actually know are the clan heads and the advisors, said Jiraiya. He didn't. Those old crows, especially Danzo, those three were stuck in the old ways, refusing to ever move on. With times he promised himself if Danzo ever tried to take Naruto into his root program, he'd killed the old war hawk himself. He didn't. If he was necessary evil, he was still evil, and someone who his sensei should have taken care of decades ago. Aren't you good to get in trouble? Asked Naruto. Maybe? Who cares though? I live for adventure. But you know your mother had saying don't give up until the very end. says Jiraiya. She was a very high-spirited woman, and much like her son, she was also a very skilled kunoichi. Back then she was one of the most skilled Fuinjutsu masters, earning the moniker Ceiling Queen, Fuin no Ju. Temari looks at him with a smirk. You sure like to live dangerously, says Temari. We're ninjas, says Jiraiya with a wide smirk. That's fair, said Temari with shrugging her shoulders. Kosuke then appears in front of them, shocking the two. While Jiraiya smirks at the tiny messenger, the toad hands him a scroll with the Sunagakure symbol. Upon seeing her village's symbol caused a smile to appear on her face. The small red amphibian then turned towards Tsunade and hands her an envelope. Temari looks confused at the small toad. It's a letter from your brother Gaara, says Kosuke. Temari quickly hugged the envelope into her chest. With his mission complete, he turned back home. Naruto smiles at Temari. He then turned to Jiraiya. So, what's the mission? asked Naruto. Jiraiya grins at him. Land of Fangs. We gotta deliver some important documents, says Jiraiya. Oh yeah? I remember that mission, said Naruto with a nervous look. What you did? asked Temari with a deadpan expression. Naruto then told her what happened. She just shook her head at Naruto. You're an idiot, says Temari, causing him to laugh nervously. Unknown to them, a Nu can be seen flying out of the room. The bee then flies towards a small campsite that's only a few feet away. The bug flies on a shoulder of an IWA shinobi. The man has black short spiky hair and pale skin. He has large green, pupilless eyes, and the lower half of his face was concealed by bandages. He wore a purple tunic over a black bodysuit, his hands also being covered by bandages. This man is named Son. Next to him is a female. She has long bluish-colored hair which she ties in such a fashion as to form a ball on top of her head, using what appears to be a knitting needle, while two large locks with lightened tips frame the remainder of her face. Her typical attire consists of a short sleeveless dress, further adorned by the presence of numerous bandages that encircle various portions of her body, including her waist and thighs. Her name is Nabiki. And next to her is another female named Hatsu. Is a light-skinned woman with short black hair and golden yellow eyes, accentuated by feminine eyelashes. Hatsu is of slightly above average height with noticeably ample breasts. Both her fingernails and toenails are painted with dark red nail polish, and she wears red lipstick. Hatsu wears a typical IWA nin outfit, a brown Iwagakure-style flak jacket, a red Iwagakure uniform with both sleeves and lapels over both legs, mesh armor around her shins and ankles, and standard brown Iwagakure boots. Her scratched forehead protector is worn around her neck. In casual settings, her typical attire consists of a tight red dress with long kimono-style sleeves and slits on the sides that reveal her legs, as well as open-toed black high-heeled sandals. Nabiki then turns to Son with raised eyebrows. So, is that him? asked Nabiki, polishing her reverse sword. Son nods his head before he gains a sinister grin. Yeah, that's him alright, and the children of Raza and Minato, says the grinning Son. Hatsu then creates a clay dragonfly. She stares at the roof. Can we kill them slow or ruthlessly? And what about the others? Do we tell them? asked Hatsu. Son nods his head. Yeah, the others like to know. We'll kill them ruthlessly, grinned the man. In Konoha it was just as bright and warm outside like any other day. The only difference about today is that Tsunade isn't in her personal hell, aka paperwork, the greatest enemy of all Hokage. But Tsunade isn't just drinking the day away like she would usually do. Besides, Shizen would find out somehow. She wasn't sure, but the niece of Dan somehow knew. She was drinking sake. Maybe it was due to the fact the Ravenet just knew how Tsunade is, or it could be the fact that Shizen had spent her whole life with Tsunade. She just knew how the blonde's mind worked. Tsunade watches as Ino tries to bring the fish back to life. She had to admit this was one of Jiraiya's good idea. Not that the man didn't have any good ideas, it was just that porn was usually on her teammate's mind. Ino had even told her about how Sakura was getting trained by Kurenai, which is good since the young pinkette does have great chakra control. Even Kakashi had stated she could be good in genjutsu. Tsunade is then knocked out of her thoughts by the sound of a puff. She turns and sees a messenger toad who gives her a scroll. Tsunade takes it and smiles at the small creature. After reading the paper had brought a smile on her face. She was happy to read the improvement of Naruto. While she wished she could have been there for Naruto after he took his first kill, she was still proud at the progress of the male Uzumaki. It even seemed like Temari was a good influence on him, which is good. While she trusted Jiraiya to be able to train him, she didn't want the self-proclaimed super pervert to turn Naruto into a pervert. The village had enough perverts, plus the world doesn't need a second Jiraiya. She nearly shivered at the thought of Naruto peeping on females, writing his own perverted book, and proclaiming himself the world's biggest pervert. I swear if Naruto comes back as a pervert, I'm going to break every bone in that pervert's body and have Inoichi wipe his mind of anything Ika related and replace it with gay porn, thought Tsunade with an annoyed look on her face. With Team Jiraiya, for some Jiraiya shivered and felt true horror. Both Naruto and Temari looked at their sensei with a raised eyebrow. What is it? asked the curious Temari. She knew he was powerful, but he was also a perverted idiot. I don't know why, but I feel like I should protect my research at all costs, exclaimed Jiraiya, causing both of the blondes to stare at the white-haired man with a deadpan expression. Are you sure it's not Bachan cursing you? Questioned Naruto. He knew with Jiraiya's hobbies he was on the receiving end of Tsunade's monster strength, more than human possible. Jiraiya simply laughs at Naruto, puffing out his chest with pride. Of course not. All the ladies can't resist me, exclaimed Jiraiya with a wide stupid grin. Temari just rolled her eyes at Jiraiya. Are you sure it's not the money they want, because you are as desirable as the wart toads you summon? insulted Temari, enjoying his annoyed look and muttering about disrespectful children. Naruto snickers at the glum sanin. He then grins at the female kunoichi. Nice one, Temari-chan, exclaimed Naruto, smiling brightly at the daughter of the Kazekage. A link hue appears on her desert skin. Temari smiles at the male, finding the bright smile of Naruto cute. Seeing Temari smiling at him, and also made Naruto blush. After all, he never had a female smile at him like this before, well excluding Hinata, but Naruto is oblivious when it comes to the female body. Jiraiya snickers in a lecherous manner. Temari gains a tick mark on the side of her head. Jiraiya then plummets to the ground. Temari smirks viciously at him, while she pats her fan. Naruto chuckles at Jiraiya while Jiraiya just rubs his head, mumbling about aggressive blondes. He glances at the two, realizing just how close they got, and these two honestly reminded him of his student Minato and his wife. The only difference this time is instead of a smart blonde and brash redhead, there was a brash blonde and smart blonde, and of course Temari was just as scary as Kushina. Yep, Kushina would definitely like Temari, thought Jiraiya. He then chuckles, knowing how Kushina would act if she was alive today. The two blondes narrowed their eyes at Jiraiya but quickly stopped when they noticed it wasn't one of his perverted laughs. After being around him so much, they knew the man had a lot of regrets, no doubt, thinking about the people he couldn't save. Even now they knew the death of Minato, and Kushina still weighed heavily on him. Naruto then gets an idea. Hey Jiraiya, said Naruto, shocking the man since he never called him by his name. It was also Ichi-san, and seeing he has the attention of the road sage, he decides to continue on. I started reading your book, your first book. I like it a lot and I think you should try to resell it, said Naruto, and it was true. It wasn't like the make-out tactics at all, which he was very thankful since those are pretty much porn on paper. Really? You think so? Asked Jiraiya. After all, when he tried to release the book it was a total failure. Naruto nods his head. Yeah, you said it didn't sell well because of the time you were in, right? Then why not try again? I mean, we aren't in a war, asked Naruto, and he was sure the book will sell. Even though he didn't know jack shit about writing, he knew The Tale of a Gutsy Ninja was a good book, and he thought of it as a family heirloom. Jiraiya then smirks at his godson. Yeah, maybe your brat, I think I will, grinned the perverted toad. He then begins reminiscing about his younger years back when he was genin, before the death of Dan and Nawaki, before Orochimaru became obsessed with learning everything jutsu, and before the second ninja war. Those were definitely peaceful times, and the time when he became sensei, those were the days. Temari then gains down expression. Naruto, seeing this, decided to do something that would probably get him punched into the next time zone. He reaches for her hand, causing the young desert kunoichi to jump in shock at hand contact. She especially never expected Naruto to grab hold of her hand. She turns to the nervous and blushing Naruto. She watches as he nervously scratched his cheek. Are you okay, Temari-chan? You look down? Asked Naruto, who's surprised he's not face first with an imprint of a fan on his head. Temari tightens her hold on his hand, causing Naruto to look up at the older female, and sees a look of sadness which reminded him of the look he had when he was alone with barely any friends. I miss them. I miss Gaara, Kankuro, my home, says Temari. This was the first time she has been separated from them, especially now with Gaara's newfound look on life. The moment when Gaara finally stops his psychopathic ways, Naruto knew he couldn't possibly understand how she feels, even though he saw Konohamaru as a younger brother and I am as a big sister. He knew it wasn't exactly the same thing as having a real sibling. The only thing he could possibly think of was just to comfort her. An idea then came to mind. He grins brightly at her. I have idea. Why don't you write to them? You can also write to your sensei too. I can send Gamikichi to deliver the letter. I just need some kind of snack, says Naruto. Naruto never did like seeing his friend sad, and for some reason the notion of Temari being anything other than her usual confident self just felt wrong. Somehow he rather see her beautiful smile. He then blushed a darker shade of red for the strange thought. Temari smiles at the request. I think I might try. It sounds like a great idea. It'll be nice if they can message back. I am curious how Sunagakure is doing. But why do you need a snack? Asked the confused Temari. She really did appreciate him. Sure, he could be an idiot at times, but he really did come through. He definitely reminded her of how strong he was when he fought against her brother. He was someone you don't want to underestimate. He then gains a sheepish grin. Oh yeah, you see, Gamikichi and his brother Gamatatsu usually do what I want when I have chocolate, or some type of snack. At least it's better than what Gamabunta wanted when I first summoned him, said Naruto with a small laugh. What did Gamabunta wanted? Asked the curious Temari. She remembered when he summoned a tiny talking toad at first, then he summoned a giant toad to battle with the fully transformed Shikaku. She and everyone paid no mind to Naruto, thinking him nothing but a loud-mouthed brat whose ego matched the velocity of his voice. They thought the one who could come out on top would be Sasuke. But even Sasuke, the last Uchiha, stood no chance against her brother. It really shows being a prodigy really means nothing in the ninja world. Then again, he's nothing like Itachi or Shosui, who could have easily handled her brother. She did thought he was cute, but his whole attitude was definitely a turn-off. She honestly didn't understand why the females in Konoha liked him so much, especially the fact he betrayed the village. For Temari, Sasuke was following in Itachi's footsteps. Both decided to leave the village for power, while the only exception was Sasuke didn't murder his own family, but because of his superior complex many of his classmates were injured, some even nearly died. Naruto was definitely a better catch. He was loyal. You can trust him to always have your back. And he was cute when he got this determined look in his eyes. Temari blushes an atomic red at the thought of her, thinking Naruto was cute. He wanted me to share a drink with him, said Naruto. He can literally feel the grip on his hand tightens, did you? Asked Temari in a tone of voice that promised pain. Naruto, with fear laced in his very action, shook his head negatively. This seemed to calm her down, this making her grip on his hand lessens. I told him I was too young to drink, so he said when I'm older we'll share a drink, explained Naruto. That's good, I don't want you picking up any of Jiraiya's habits, said Temari. Sure, she respected the man for his prowess and his vast knowledge, but she obviously didn't respect his hobby. Hell, she hates the fact that he would proclaim how he is a super pervert and his constant hobby of visiting the brothel. The world already has one super pervert, it certainly doesn't need a second one. Sure, Orochimaru might be grooming Sasuke into the next Orochimaru, doesn't mean Jiraiya needs to make Naruto into a perverted shinobi. Naruto smiles brightly at her, giving her his usual dopey grin. Don't worry, I won't ever turn into a pervert like Ero-sennin. I'll be a great shinobi like my father, says Naruto with a true smile. It wasn't his usual wide grin, but it was a smile that had depth in it. Temari then blushed at the thought of an older Naruto resembling his father. She then suddenly felt it was one of those hot days at Sunagakure. Jiraiya glances at the two and smiles as he noticed they haven't let go of each other. He now knew taking Temari was a smart choice, not just for strengthening the bond between both villages, but more importantly, Naruto has someone he can depend on. He liked Temari way more than his teammate. She was a lot less loud and was better company for his godson. Plus, I don't want him to make the same mistakes I did, and finding someone that isn't like Tsunade will sure do it. All we need him to do is forget about Sasuke, thought Jiraiya. He wonders how many years had he wasted trying to get with his teammate who has still been in love with Dan after all the years that have passed. Jiraiya knew if he had just moved on he could have had his own family. Hell, he'd actually be grandfather right now if he had his own family. The Sannin glances at Naruto and smiles at young boy. He may not have a son of his own, but he does see Naruto has a son. Minato, Kushina, are you watching over your son? Are you seeing how far he's come? Wondered Jiraiya as he stares into space. He wondered in the afterlife, are they watching their son goes through the struggles of being a Jinchuriki? Jiraiya also can't wait to see how his godson matures during the next years. If he's anything like his father, then Naruto could be quite powerful by the time they need to return to Konoha. He hopes by that time Naruto can be able to fight Orochimaru without the need for backup. After all, if Naruto was able to learn to completely master the Rasengan in only few weeks, then he knew Naruto could learn other techniques, and with the usage of clones that cuts the time in half. Jiraiya then lets out a chuckle. What the hell are you laughing at, Ero-sennin? Roared Naruto, glaring dangers at his godfather. He doesn't know why, but he knew the pervert was laughing at his own amusement. The Toad Sage's grin widened even wider. Oh, it's nothing, it just I never thought the son of the Yondaime Hokage and the daughter of the Yondaime Kazekage would make such a good couple, says Jiraiya while giggling like a schoolgirl. The two of them glares at Jiraiya. Naruto then clenches his fist, while Temari grips her iron fan. Jiraiya then points down. They follow where he's pointing and they notice they haven't stopped holding hands. The two jump away from each other, both sporting a nuclear blush. If one can look closer they might see steam coming from their heads. Ahahaha, you kids make it too easy, laughed Jiraiya, holding his stomach. Naruto throws shuriken at his sensei, who easily dodges. He then laughs at the embarrassed Naruto. Unfortunately, he wasn't fast enough when an iron fan was thrown at his face. Jiraiya groans in pain, clutching his face. He mumbles about disrespectful blonde, and Minato was never disrespectful. Temari smirks at pain-filled Jiraiya. Maybe that'll teach you a lesson, pervert, says Temari, smiling at Jiraiya with smug grin on her face. Jiraiya the hope back in his feet, doing his usual pose. I'm not a pervert. I'm a super pervert, exclaimed Jiraiya with a goofy grin on his face. Both blondes stare at their teacher with a deadpan look. You forgot, world's biggest idiot, insulted Naruto, shaking his head. He wasn't very impressed the first time Jiraiya did this. He wasn't. Now he then lets out a sigh. Come on, Temari-chan, we have to deliver this document, says Naruto, passing by his godfather. Temari nods in agreement. Right, Naruto-kun, says the female. Jiraiya pouts to himself. Don't get a fat head just cause your precious Temari-chan got you a little smarter, joked Jiraiya, speeding past them. Both teens blush in embarrassment. The two chants after the perverted Sannin. Unknown to them, they were being watched by a small group of bees. Later, inside a hotel, Team Jiraiya can be seen doing their own thing. Jiraiya had just had his toad send a manuscript of Tale of a Gutsy Ninja to his editor. Temari was cleaning her weapons, and Naruto was studying a sealing scroll. While they were enjoying their free time before they get another mission on the outside of town, Son and his Iwagakure comrades sit around him. There are also 3 other IWA men who belong to the Iwagakure Explosion Corps. They even had the 2 other B users, Kuramachi and Kuta. Their names are Gyo, Haichi, and Bon. Gyo is a man in his 30s with shaggy spiky black hair and brown-colored eyes. He wears the standard Iwagakure flak jacket and a red single-sleeved shirt underneath, leaving the entirety of his right arm exposed except for the presence of his scratched forehead protector, wrapped around the upper portion of the arm. He also has the traditional lapel hanging from the right side of his pants and shinobi boots. Haichi is a heavy-set man in his late 30s with a full-grown beard with short brown hair. He has green-colored eyes. He wears his scratched forehead protector on his forehead. He wears a sleeveless mesh vest over it. He wears an Iwagakure jounin vest. He wears traditional lapel hanging from the right side of his pants and brown shinobi boot. Bon is a young man in his kid-20s with black spiky hair. He has brown eyes. He wears the standard Iwagakure flak jacket and a brown single-sleeved shirt underneath, leaving the entirety of his right arm exposed except for the presence of his scratched forehead protector, wrapped around the upper portion of the arm. He also has the traditional lapel hanging from the right side of his pants, and shinobi boots and black shinobi boots. Gyo turns towards Son with his eyes narrowed. Are you sure this brat is the son of the Yellow Flash? Asked Gyo with suspension. Sure, it is odd that Jiraiya's new student is blonde and the daughter of Raza. Son nods his head. Yes, I heard him say so himself. Think about it, the kid looks like Minato. His last name is Uzumaki. Who else in Konoha had that name? Asked Son. He watches as Gyo narrowed his eyes and grins darkly. This is our chance. We get to kill Jiraiya, the daughter of the Yondaime Kazekage and the son of the Yondaime Hokage. We'll never get this chance again. Grinned Son. Yeah, I hear you. The son of the Yondaime, people will pay millions for his head. Grinned Gyo darkly. Exactly. But first, why not let Minato's brat come to us? Grinned Son. Gyo matches his grin. They knew even their Tsuchikage would pay them a high price. Back with Team Jiraiya. Jiraiya leaves the room giggling in his usual perverted manner. Both Naruto and Temari sighs at the old man. Ugh, damn that pervert. Hey, did you have your wallet laying out? Asked Naruto. She shook her head negatively and looks at him with confusion. Last time I left my wallet out he took money and spent it on whores. Exclaimed Naruto. The fact that Jiraiya left to screw some cheap whore doesn't really surprise her, but what does is he took Naruto's money. She knew with him writing his open he should have plenty money to spend, especially with all the secret missions he done for both Sandaime and Godaime, but he has his money. States Temari. She was beginning to wonder if Konoha Specialties wasn't producing powerful ninjas, instead producing perverts. Yeah, I know, right? But he's a cheap, crusty man whore. Exclaimed Naruto. Temari then begins to giggle at the open insult. She then smirks at the door before smirking back at him. Hey, how about you forget that pervert and teach me a few ninjutsu? Asked Temari, who was starting to believe Konohagakure ninjas were too free-carrying, especially Jiraiya. She also remembered Naruto telling her about his other sensei Kakashi and Irika. She noticed all the grown-ups in Naruto's lives were perverted to some degree. Naruto blinks at her with surprise before nodding his head with glee. Temari smirks at his childlike antics. Sure, I can teach you the wind release trap, Futon Tarapu. It's pretty simple, just throw a special tag down at your enemy's feet, which unleashes a tornado of wind, launching them up into the air. Explained Naruto. He then begins writing the kanji in the scroll. Temari then pours some of her wind chakra into the scroll. The two smiled down at the scroll. Temari had to admit the sealing formula on the paper was quite complicated. She herself wasn't very skilled fuinjutsu, she just knew the basics of it. Then again, Sunagakure hardly had any fuinjutsu masters. She smiles at the blonde male. Wow, Naruto-kun, this is amazing. I don't think I could ever come up with something like this, or even that teammate of yours Sasuke, said Temari. He blushes at the compliment. He rarely ever got one, thanks to most thinking he's just some screw-up. Not many ever praise, especially not when comparing him to his traitorous friend Sasuke. Really? You mean it? I don't think what I did was all that special, says Naruto in an embarrassed tone. He could only remember a few times someone had praised him. She nods her head. Yeah, of course I do, and unlike Sasuke you are loyal to your village. I know you will become the next Hokage, says Temari, leaving him shocked. She then runs her hand across his whiskered face, causing him to release a purr. Naruto blushes in embarrassment and comfort, while she, struggling, contains herself from not squealing at how cute the not have known knew he had a weak spot. The two then bring their faces closer to one another, and Temari, content with playing with his whiskers, Naruto not being able to pull away, just turned into putty in her very hands. Suddenly their eyes then begins to feel heavier, which was strange. Either were tired at all. Their eyes then begin to feel heavy. They soon struggle to stay awake. Both of them soon collapse against one another. Bees then cross the room and taking the form of Nabiki, who grins down at the two children. Bee pheromones technique, Hachi pheromone no jutsu, thought Nabiki with a smirk. She then stares at the two before keeping her focus on Temari. She carefully separated the two and slings the girl over her shoulders. She then grabs Temari's weapon and shunshin, dispersing in a cloud of bees. The blonde couldn't remember when he fell asleep. The last thing he remembers was staring into Temari's eyes. Maybe that was part of the dream, but he knew one thing: sleep never felt so good. Naruto's peaceful sleep is put to halt as he violently shaken from his slumbering. As his eyes slowly open, he sees the serious face of Jiraiya. The blonde looks around the room and doesn't see her anymore or her fans. A sleepy expression. He released a yawn. Is Temari-chan out training? Asked the sleepy Naruto, wiping the sleep away from his eyes. Jiraiya decides to just hand the note, confusing his godson. The sleep from his body is then kicked out as he read the letter. We have her. If you don't want her to be cut in pieces and shipped to Sunagakure, meet us outside of town near the forest. Kamizura clan. Naruto is then overcome by an overwhelming rage flowing through him. The letter wasn't very long, but each word stuck with him. When he read the words "we have her," a cold chill ran through his very body. Not even the ice hockey used had made him feel so cold. He also felt another feeling, anger, and lost the same feeling he had when Orochimaru took Sasuke. But no, he felt even angrier, and the pain knowing Temari was taken. But this feeling felt different from when Sasuke left. Well, there is a huge difference. Sasuke left on his own accord while Temari was taken against her. Well, there was also the last word. The mere concept of Temari being harm in any way had hit Naruto as if he had the wind knocked out of him, and the very idea of these bastards doing something horrible such as cutting Temari in small pieces and shipping each piece back to her home village, back to her brothers, There was one thing that ran through his mind, and that was kill. He was going to find and kill these bastards. It was something large. Fox and himself both agreed. One, who are they? Snarled the rage-filled blonde, scowling so hard his eyes began squinting. Every part of him was screaming at him to save Temari and kill the poor bastards who kidnapped her. Jiraiya has to admit he's never once seen Naruto this angry before, not even when he found out Sasuke left the village, or when Tsunade had bad-mouthed the other Hokage. Kamizuru clan was a clan of abusers from Iwagakure who were once very well known and revered. They are all descendants to Ishikawa, the first Tsuchikage. Sometime after his passing, Ishikawa's clan fell into disgrace. Nearly all of them had left Iwagakure. They no doubt figured who you are, said Jiraiya. So, basically these bastards are like Shino but with bees? Asked Naruto. Jiraiya nods his head. Then what are we waiting for? We have to save Temari-chan. We can't let them get away with this. I won't let some bastard take those close to me, exclaimed the blonde. His mind then wanders towards the people he lost. He can still remember the words that Haku spoken to him. Jiraiya places his hand on Naruto's shoulder with a firm hold, preventing the young blonde running head on into a trap. The fact that these two aren't dead either means they want to kill Naruto when he's awake, or they have some other plan in mind. Naruto, before we go I need you to do everything I say and don't question me, understood? We're dealing with Jounin and Chunin. One wrong move and they'll most likely kill Tsunade, and it's safe to presume it's a trap, said Jiraiya in a serious tone. He needed Naruto thinking straight, and not just running into it like a madman. Naruto looks down at his student's feet in anger. Hi. I understand, Jiraiya-sensei, I'll bring her back no matter what, said Naruto. He knew he couldn't mess this up. Temari's life was in danger. Do you have someone who is precious to you? Thought Naruto. He then nods his head. He does have someone precious to him. This time he'll protect those special to him. Good, then head out and save your girlfriend, said Jiraiya. Naruto ignores the obvious jab. Instead he speaks with Kyubi. Seeing the look on Naruto's reminds him of both Minato and Yahiko. It seemed like each of these can very silly if not kind of an idiot, but when action calls for it they become a hardened shinobi. Kyubi stares at Naruto with narrowed eyes. The blonde can literally feel the very best coming from the fox's mouth. You're saying you don't want my power? Why? With my chakra you can easily crush these fools before they even realized they were dead, growled Kyubi. It seemed like traveling with Temari and Jiraiya hadn't made Naruto changed all that much. The blonde still refuses to use his chakra now. He thought with that sandwoman taken it would have forced Naruto to be begging before him. It's true, with your chakra I could easily beat those bastards before they even know it. But I don't want to that. If I'm going to kill these Iwagakure it's going to be by my own hands, exclaimed Naruto, glaring daggers at Kyubi. Kyubi smirks at the blonde. I think you're finally growing up, brat. If you're going to be fighting people the least I can do is give you a fighting choice, says Kyubi. He then taps Naruto on the forehead. Kyubi informs him of the knowledge the fox has, especially when said information revolves around Mito Uzumaki, his first Jinchuriki, the person who first sealed him away. Back with the Iwagakure ninjas, Son grins to himself, staring at the tied-up Temari who's dreaming of her brothers and a certain blonde. That is until she's awakened by a cold splash of water. Temari coughed out some water and quickly realizes a few things. One of the main, she's not in the hotel room with Naruto, and two, she's surrounded by various of Iwagakure. Not only that but both her arms and legs are bound. Wakey, exclaimed Son, grinning down at the tied female. Temari glares at scratched headband. Son grins at the tied Temari. No need to look like that, grins Son with a dark grin on his face. Hatsu grins darkly as she grabs Temari by the face harshly. Temari glares daggers at the woman with a scowl. If you continue with that look on your face it'll get stuck, mocked Hatsu in a teasing manner. Temari in response spits at Hatsu. The black-haired woman in response simply slams her head into the ground. She then pulls out a kunai, but before she can even lay one scratch on Temari, Son grips her hand, stopping her. Hatsu looks at Son with an annoyed look. Hatsu clicks her tongue in irritation. She just leans against a tree and wipes the spot from her face, grumbling about stupid kids. Son just chuckles at Hatsu. Now Hatsu, the last thing we need is you to damage the merchandise. Sorry about Hatsu, she hates kids, says Son in a tone that sounded far too friendly for her liking. What do you want? Hissed Temari with a scowl on her face, glaring death daggers at the man. Son then gains a fake look of pain. There's no need for that tone. And I thought I told you. Your face will freeze like that, joked Son with a dark look on his face. He then gains a twisted grin on his face. What I want is quite simple. Your boyfriend is what I want, grinned Son with a look that would impress Kisame and Orochimaru. All the other Iwagakure ninjas each laugh and grin at the angered Temari. Son had to admit the look on her face reminded him a lot of the serious and stern look Raza would have. What do you bastards want with Naruto-kun? Growled Temari. She had never met an Iwagakure ninja before, but she already didn't like them. Nabiki grins at this with a mischievous look on her face. She then smirks at the other female on her team. Did you hear that, Hatsu? Naruto-kun, questioned Nabiki with a sly smirk on her face. The idea of two offsprings of Hokage liking each other, especially when their fathers were Minato and Raza, two of the most deadly and strongest shinobi of the previous generation. Hatsu grins to herself. It seems like the little desert rose has fallen for a maelstrom, mocked Hatsu. Bon then taps on his forehead. Protector isn't obvious what we want. We may have left our village, but everyone knows of the yellow flash. I mean, come on, he's trained by Kakashi and Jiraiya. Hell, the damn brat looks like Minato, for fuck's sake. We'd have to be blind and stupid not to put two and two together, gloats Bon. Temari then gives them a cocky grin. You guys must be quite foolish. There's no way, you idiot! Groaned Temari in pain as Bond kicked her in the face. The young man then grabs her by the hair and punches her in the face, causing her lip to bleed. He then released her and stomps on her head with vicious grin. Not so tough, huh? Mocked Bond as he repeatedly kicked her head. He then forcefully drags Temari on her feet and pressed the kunai to her throat, while he aggressively grabs onto her breast and licks her cheek with a twisted, perverted look on his face. I know how we can hurt that yellow flash spawn. How about we have some fun with Blondie here? Giggled Bond. Temari bits her, already gleefully avoiding the look of many of the men who had Qz's own perverted grin on their face, while Nabiki and Hatsu didn't even look to concern. Lola, damn it! These guys are insane. Naruto-kun, Jiraiya, where the hell are you guys? Thought Temari with concerned and worried. Time skip. Hatsu, Kuramachi, and Kuta grin at each other as they see Jiraiya and Naruto heading their way, seeing the three Awagakure ninjas, causing the two stop dead in their tracks. Jiraiya then pulls the blonde boy behind. He glares at each of these. Where's Temari? Demanded Jiraiya, returning back to the room, and missing one blonde child did not sit well for him. He had to admit Temari had begun to grow on him. The three grinned at the two. Konoha shinobi Hatsu grins at the scowl on Naruto's face. She then lets out a whistle as if she's impressed. Yep. There's no doubt in my mind you are the son of Yellow Flash. You have that bastard's eyes. Laughed Nabiki with a dark grin. Hatsu and Kuramachi also chime in at laughing at the two. Where's Temari-chan? Growled Naruto with a scowl on his face as he stares at the three with utter disgust. These people didn't matter to him. The only thing that did matter to Naruto was saving Temari. Everything else came second. Kuta grins at Naruto as he licks his lips. She's alive for now, unfortunately. If I had it my way, I'd have a taste some of that desert rose you care so much about. Grins Kuta, giving the two a twisted, crooked grin. He enjoys looking at the angry look on both Naruto's and Jiraiya's face. The young man then gains a fake sob expression. Unfortunately, only one you can get by while the other stays with us. Grinned Kuta. Naruto, go! Ordered Jiraiya without a second thought. He passed by them. He knew Jiraiya can take these bastards when he was after a Sannin. They were just some cheap Abirame knock off. Naruto is then forced to jump to the side as an explosion tag nearly hit him. He turns and glares at Haichi, who's grinning at him from a tree. Naruto scowls at the man, who grins at the blonde. You sure do have your father's eyes, said Haichi. The man chuckles to himself. If this kid was anything like his father, then this might actually be a fun fight. The blonde stares at Haichi with a cold tone and deadly look in his eyes. The blonde then summons his Kusarigama. Where the hell is Temari-chan? Growled Naruto with a hardened tone. Haichi's hand glows bright with explosion release. You'll have to get through me to get to your little girlfriend. Now show me what you got, Uzumaki! Exclaimed Haichi with excitement. The man charges at Naruto with a straight punch. Naruto jumps to the side, avoiding the exploding punch, but the debris had thrown him towards a tree. Neurosurgeon's in pain as he hit the tree. Haichi then jumps down with an exploding kick. Naruto then quickly backflips away, avoiding the explosion. Haichi appears in front of Naruto and punches the blonde in the chest with dark grin. He blasts an explosion in Naruto's face. Naruto pants in pain as blood drops from his face. Haichi laughs at the bloody face. Naruto. Haichi then uses the hand seals of snake, dog, boar, rat, ram, ox, and rabbit. He extends both hands out. Explosion release. Great explosion line. Bakutan. Ritoku no Shibirain. Exclaimed Haichi with a wide grin. A orange beam of power heads Naruto's way, shocking the blonde. The blonde quickly replaced himself with a substitution jutsu. Naruto stares in shock at the blast. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the large crater where the explosion had landed. He knew if he hadn't used substitution he'd be dead right now. The man then concentrated his explosion release into his hand and punches the ground, sending rubble everywhere. He then launched an explosion punch which had sent the rocks at Naruto at a fast speed. Naruto grits his teeth. He then creates a large earth wall, taking the blunt of the attack. Unfortunately, the wall is then destroyed by Haichi. Naruto quickly fires an air bullet at him, which hits dead on. Naruto creates several clones and each charges at Haichi, who easily handles them with swift strikes. The clones that were destroyed created a smoke screen. Naruto then throws his Kusarigama, but Haichi uses his explosion to deflect the blast. Kukuku, you'll have to do better than that, mocked Haichi. I did, said Naruto. Haichi then gasped in pain as he's struck in the back by a Rasengan. The man jumps to the side as an wind-infused Kusarigama slash. Haichi then released an explosion, propelling him to Naruto, catching off guard with a knee to the face. He then punches Naruto into the temple, causing him to skid across the floor. The man jumps high in the air with explosive axe kick. Naruto sickly deflects it with a wind slash that had thrown the two back. The blonde quickly swings his Kusarigama, unleashing vertical wind slashes. Haichi combats this by unleashing massive explosions. Naruto grit his teeth as the explosions has scorched his skin. Naruto is then forced to jump back as the man fires small explosion balls, but as they hit the ground, Naruto's field of vision is blinded by a bright light. Naruto then gasps in pain as Haichi knocked the wind out of him with a single punch. Haichi then gives Naruto an explosion uppercut punch, launching him high in the air. Haichi then follows up with a bell drop, sending Naruto face first into the ground. The man then lets out a laugh. Ha ha ha. So, this is the legacy of the Yellow Flash. Ah ha ha ha, what a fucking disappointment. Explosion release, Red Planet technique, Bakutan, Akai Wakusiai no Jutsu, roared Haichi, bringing down a giant orange orb. He was expecting to see Naruto to be reduced into nothing but ash, but instead, as one of destruction makes contact with golden chains, Haichi stares in shock at the chains. He then narrowed his eyes at the chains surrounding the blonde. Haichi is then forced to jump back as chains from the ground. Damn it, those chains can stop my Akawakusiai, thought Haichi. He then punched a tree sending splinters at Naruto, but the blonde creates a dome of wind blade which protect him. Haichi charges at Naruto. The blonde dodges a left punch, but was caught by a surprise jab to the throat and a side kick. Naruto gasps in pain as Haichi hits him an explosion palm strike while he was sent flying. Naruto throws a wind-fused shuriken which had nailed Haichi in the eyes. Naruto with gritted teeth jumps high in the air with a back flip while upside down. He then swings his chain sickle around his body. Wind release. Ida ten typhoon futon. Ida ten taifu, said Naruto. He unleashes powerful gust of circular wind that slashes Haichi, who's fortunately literally below him. The man screams in pain as the poisonous wind slashes cut deep into his body. The man falls to his knees gasping with air. Naruto, covered in blood, uses the ram and tiger hand seal. Each of his fingertips ignite with white flames. Uzumaki sealing technique. Fierce sun god. Uzumaki fuinjutsu. Hajeshi Teoshin, exclaimed Naruto as his hand slammed against Haichi's chest. The man then screams in pain as his very being is burning. He tries to fight off the pain, but all it does is burn him even more until he is ash in the wind. Naruto then collapsed to his knees, mentally thanking the fox for showing him Mito Uzumaki's the fierce sun god technique. Naruto then pants heavily. Damn, that last one took a lot out of me. Explosion release. It's simple but effective, said Naruto, panting hard. He then slowly rises to his feet and begins to travel through the forest. He then consents Temari's chakra and begins to run towards the direction. He then narrowed his eyes as bees begins to make a trail. He then follows the bees. It took him only a few minutes until he sees Son, Nabiki, and Hatsu surrounded a beaten Temari. Seeing Temari in such a state only fuels his anger. He also noticed Temari is being gagged. The blonde glares at three. What the hell did you bastards do to Temari-chan? Demanded Naruto. He definitely was not liking the smug look on Son's face. Son just playfully waved him off. Oh, nothing, those are just love taps, you know. She has quite the mouth, as you can see, said Son, wrapping his arm around Temari in a death grip, smirking at Naruto, who's just glaring at him with the most disgust. The concept of bringing Sasuke back to the village wasn't even on his mind, or the promise he made to Sakura for the young blonde Sasuke, Sakura, and the promise of a lifetime meant absolutely nothing to him. He just wanted to save Temari from these bastards. Nabiki grins at Naruto with a silent command. Thousand of bees fires off their poisonous stingers at Naruto. The blonde swings his sickle, deflecting each of the bees. He then released 4 vertical wind slash that kills the bees. A horse of bees charge at Naruto. The blonde quickly backflips away, throwing 4 exploding tags. He then unleashes a wind blade which had destroyed the bees. Hatsu throws several of small clay creatures. Naruto summons his chakra chains which had created a barrier protecting him. Hatsu throws a clay centipede. Naruto quickly fires a wind bullet. The clay creation explodes prematurely, so this one can mold his explosion release in clay. He's different from the other one I fought. Damn it, of course both of them are long-range fighters, thought Naruto. He quickly creates a clone, at which the clone throws the original at Nabiki. She avoids the flying kick. While still in the air, he throws his chain sickle at her. She leans to the side, avoiding the blade. She then grabs hold of the chain and pulls the chain back. She punched the blonde straight in the face. Hatsu then appears next to him and grits his teeth at the punch to the ribs. She grabs him by the head and knees him in the face. She swiftly pulls out a kunai and stand him the shoulder. The blonde yells in pain, even though every fiber of his being is screaming in pain. He gives her a vicious headbutt, breaking her nose in the process. Naruto then released a gale wind at her, tossing her back. Naruto then creates 5 clones. Each one attacks Hatsu. The first 2 clones throws shuriken at the man's legs, causing him to scream in pain. Another clone performs a handstand and kicks Hatsu in the stomach with both feet, causing the man to gasp in pain as the wind was knocked out of him. The clone then kicks him in the chin by a wind-infused kick. Another clone hits the man with a wind strike, causing him to fly higher in the air. Naruto then begins to send wind-infused air palms to the man, causing him to blast hover in the air. The blonde pours chakra into his legs, launching himself higher in the air. The man gasps in pain. He grits his teeth as he pulls out multiple clay birds. Naruto pays no mind to this and spins on mid-air, slashing the clay creations with his sickle blade. He ignores the burning of his skin and slams the blade into Hatsu's shoulder. Flash barrage, roared Naruto. Hatsu is slammed into the ground. Naruto then stumbles as he stands and grabs hold on his now bleeding side. Even though he's slowly healing doesn't mean taking that type of an explosion hadn't caused him pain. One down, says Naruto. His eyes then bulges wide in pain as Nabiki kicks so hard on the ribs a crack can be heard. Temari can only watch in horror as Nabiki ruthlessly punches Naruto. She cursed herself being in this type of position. As Temari watches as Nabiki ruthlessly punches Naruto, she feels shame and fear. Shame for herself for being captured so easily, and fear for Naruto, the boy who went out of his way to save her brother. And now he's doing the same, going against these Awagakure bastards. The last time she felt this about a fear was during the Konoha crush. At times she was scared of the freed Shikaku running rampage and killing her and her brother. Now she fears that this woman might kill Naruto. Nabiki grabs Naruto by the collar and repeatedly punched him in the face. The blonde wasn't sure, but he was positive everything was spinning. The blonde pulls out a flash bomb and blinds Nabiki, who drops him on the floor. The blonde quickly makes space between the two. He then gains a grin smirk as he throws 3 exploding tags which had burned a good part of her face. Why, you bastard! You ruined my face! I'll fucking kill you, be honey drizzle, Mitsubachi no Kosame, roared the burnt Nabiki. The bees create hardened needle honey. She even had the other news fires their poisonous stingers. Temari stares wide-eyed with fresh tears as over 1,000 sharp weapons ready to turn Naruto into a pincushion. As the projectiles head closer to him, he channels a large amount of wind chakra through his Kusarigama dance of sickle blade, rampant arc rampage, Hagama no Mai, Bako Koryo. Roared Naruto. He create a dome of wind sickle-shaped blades around him to defend against the incoming weapons. Naruto runs at her, cutting through the various of bees, but as they cut they explode in honey, stopping him in place. Nabiki grins at the blonde as she stabs him in the gut with a kunai red chakra, then covers his body, melting the honey with a mighty roar. He stabs the blade into her chin. The woman chokes on her own blood before her body soon becomes limp. Naruto removes his blade, allowing her dead body to fall to the ground. Naruto then points his chain sickle at Son. You're next. Now get the hell away from Temari-chan, you fucking bastard! Yelled Naruto, glaring daggers at Son. Son just lazily rises to his feet. How scary. If you were any other person you'd be long dead. It must be your Uzumaki bloodline. I can't wait till I hand you over to the Tsuchikage, and I bet your sand friend would make a good slave. Lots of people would pay a high price for a Kage's daughter, especially one so fresh, said Son as he runs his hand over Temari's bruised cheek. Seeing this has enraged the already angry Naruto. His body then begins to tremble with pure unadulterated hate. Don't you fucking touch her! Roared Naruto in anger. The blonde Uzumaki throws a volley of shuriken. Son easily deflects it with a kunai. The man claps his hands together, shots out stone bullets. Naruto then creates wide wind blades that stop the rock bullets. Son then appears in front of Naruto and punches him in the chest, throwing Naruto back. The blonde quickly creates a wide number of clones. Son grins at this and commands his bugs to fly at the clones. Each of these bees seems to have an explosion tag, shocking Naruto and his clones. Suddenly over a dozen exploding tags go off. Naruto bowls in pain, his eyes shot open in shock as an exploding bee flies by his face. The blonde quickly replaced himself with a long. He then glances at Temari. He knew he had to find a way to free her. The blonde then smirks to himself. I just need to cut this bastard once, and it's over, but that's easier said than done. I need Temari's help. I feel like I might collapse any minute, and I'm not sure if I can use that fierce sun god, thought Naruto, staring at the aged man. The elder shinobi sends his bees at Naruto. The blonde in response hits them with an air bullet which had destroyed them. Naruto grabs a handful of flash bombs and throws them at Son, blinding the man. He then runs at Son with a flying kick, but Son dodges to the side, grabs a hold of Naruto's leg, and throws him to the ground. Naruto then backflips away. You don't seem upset about your friends. Don't you care they are dead? Asked Naruto. We're shinobi, kid. We expected death the moment we put this on, exclaimed Son, pointing to his forehead protector. Death is uneventful for we ninjas. A real shinobi expects death. They know someday they will die, whether it be in the battlefield or not. I welcome death. And once I give your head to the Tsuchikage, I'll be so rich I can take it easy, exclaimed Son. Naruto glares at the man with a venomous glare. He was in so much pain, everything hurt. Hell, standing up hurt, but he knew he couldn't waver, he couldn't give up, not now. Naruto then grabs his Kusarigama with a death grip which nearly made his fingers bleed. I will assure you this, without a shadow of doubt in my mind, I will not yield, exclaimed Naruto with conviction. Son sends a large army of bees at Naruto. The blonde then summons 4 clones. Each of them summoned a pair of demon windmill shuriken. Each of the giant shuriken are infused with wind chakra, making them even sharper. Each of them throws the weapon. Each of the shuriken is then covered in exploding tags, cutting through the bees. Son is then dispersed in a crowd of bees. Son is then forced to jump away from the wind slashes from Naruto. Son then stabs Naruto through the gut with his kunai. The blonde smiles darkly as Naruto begins to turn into his mud. Son then gasps in pain as a huge gust of wind slams him into a tree, causing to break through the tree. Son wipes the blood from his face. He then slowly turns to see the bruised Temari. Glaring death glares at Son. Son stares in shock. He realized Naruto must have replaced himself with a clone when he created that huge explosion, and when he was distracted Naruto had freed Temari. And Naruto glares darkly at the man. Tsk, cheeky little brats, scoffed Son. He then creates a large swarm of bees. Both the two blondes cut the bees. Temari-chan, let's go. Wind release, whirlpool rose technique, futon, Eterozu no jutsu, yelled Temari and Naruto. Temari uses her large fan to create a tornado, trapping Son. Naruto then throws a demon windmill shuriken that has several exploding tags. He then uses the shadow clone technique on the weapon, creating then windmill shuriken which all explode, creating a flaming tornado. As the flaming tornado dies down, the burnt and cut-up body of Son falls to the ground. With the battle finally over, Naruto drops his Kusarigama, falling to his knees before the unconscious world can take him. He's then tackled by a lavender bullet, shocking Naruto. With a small smile, simply pats the crying Temari on the back, enjoying having her back. Sure, he was exhausted and everything hurt, but having Temari here just felt right to the blonde Uzumaki. It has been 3 weeks since the day of Temari's kidnapping. The two blondes have even gotten closer, both refusing to leave each other's side. They knew with the Wagakure ninjas knowing who they are, so it won't be long before others come to take their heads. Jiraiya decided to go to the land Firefly, which is a small village. With everything they've been through, Jiraiya had decided to give the two some time off. Plus both Tsunade and Sunagakure weren't happy, while more specifically her siblings and sensei were livid. Each of them were impressed with Naruto not only rescuing Temari but handling far stronger ninjas. Jiraiya had went to meet up with one of his contacts while Temari and Naruto had went into town, and since there was a festival the two decided to go both dressing in kimono. Naruto wore a dark blue and black kimono while Temari wore a lavender. Temari seeing her in a kimono was surprising, but what really surprised him was Temari had her hair out. Naruto could only stare at shock at her natural beautiful. It seemed like even the flow from the moonlight even made her look even more beautiful to Naruto. She was the most beautiful woman he has ever seen. Beautiful, mutters Naruto, but it was perfectly clear what was said. Temari blushes a deep crimson. She smiles softly at him. Thank you Naruto-kun, you look handsome too, said Temari. Now it was Naruto's then to blush a deep red. She then grabs hold of his hand. Come on, Naruto-kun, you're treating me to some yakisoba, said Temari. Naruto could only just smile as Temari leads him towards a food stand. Time skip. The three individuals can be seen walking towards the front gate. The two gate guards stare in shock at Jiraiya, Naruto, and Temari. The two blink in confusion. They easily recognized Jiraiya and Temari, but they didn't know who the blonde was until they saw the whiskers on the second blonde. The bandaged man blinks in pure shock. Naruto, is that you? Asked the man. Izumo blinks at the grinning blonde. Holy crap. That is Naruto, exclaimed the shocked Chunin. Naruto then smirks to himself. It's about time you've notices me. Well, we better going before Bachan gets angry, said Naruto. All three men shudder with a nod. An enraged Tsunade was something neither wanted to see. With that the three head into the village. Naruto smiles as he realizes the village wasn't really changed except for the fact that they now have Tsunade's face. Naruto then glances at Temari with a bright smile. How about after we meet up with Bachan we'll go on a date? Asked Naruto with a smile. Ever since that day at the festival the two had become a couple and the two couldn't be any happier. Temari smiles at this, liking the idea of going on a date with Naruto in his home village. She then smirks at him. I expect you to treat me to some sweet chestnuts and kenshin soup, said a smirking Temari. Naruto smiles at this. Sure, anything for my Mari-chan, said Naruto. He then brings her closer to him and kisses the beautiful woman in his arms. She moans into the kids, wrapping her hands over his body while Naruto simply brings her in closer. Ena Naruto, exclaimed a shocked Sakura, the student of Kurenai. Along with her was Ino, the student of Tsunade, and Team Ebisu. Excluding their sensei, the two blondes pull away, staring at Sakura. What if Naruto married Temari after training trip? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.